traveled on. Take the
221 DP Columbus. This is Sportsvisions 92.1. You're listening to the Sportsvisions Morning Show, brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. Here's DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Good Wednesday morning and welcome everybody to another edition of the Sportsvisions Morning Show. I am Walter and Betty Jones's baby boy, Daryl DJ Jones, Coach Larry Bush's grandson, the Thrifter Thrift Barringer. Good morning. How are you?
Great morning. Glad to be here, DJ. And it's hump day, baby.
Hump day. Richard Holdridge, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, DJ. It is hump day. What a fantastic morning. I'm ready to talk sports.
Absolutely. Let's say first and foremost, hello to everybody out there in Facebook land. We appreciate you joining in with us here this morning. We are excited. We are entertained, and we are definitely on par to have a great show for you. And again, we know that you could be anywhere in the world. You could be doing anything like cooking breakfast, but I know you got the radio on or you got your phone on, you're looking at something. But you know what? Whether you're cooking breakfast for the kiddos, getting them ready for school, whether you're getting ready to go to work, or whether you're on the road actually headed into work, or maybe you're just waking up wanting to start your day off positively, we are just excited that we have the opportunity to do that here on the Sportsvisions Morning Show, and we got an exciting show lined up for you. But you know what? As always, we don't want you to be, stingy with the thing. We just want you to tell a friend, to tell a friend that the Sportsvisions Morning Show is on the air now. And to all our lovely friends out there in Sportsvisions, actually WLTC HD2 Sportsvisions 921 land, we love you, but it ain't a damn thing you can do about it.
Hello, somebody.
Man, I tell you what, we're sounding damn good, guys. I mean, we got to get to work on this album, Thrift.
Yeah, we do, man. What a time to be alive right now. We're a day away from the Sweet 16. Cannot wait.
And it's opening day, Major League Baseball, Richard.
Oh, wow.
Cannot wait. The Braves play the Padres. Chris Sale is the opening day starter. I'm just looking down that roster. I mean, I'm excited. I think the Braves have a chance to compete for a World Series this year if everybody stays healthy. Fingers crossed. I mean, I know we're cheering on for the Braves.
I'll go over that Braves lineup of sort. I guess we can call it that. You still have a few wounded, few guys missing in action. However, the Braves are ready to roll. They've preseason, or at least the spring training is behind them. They're tired of playing exhibition games. They're ready to start the season, and they open it up on the road, guys. They're out in San Diego. They'll be playing at Petco Stadium with the Padres, and again, just looking forward to actually following them on the road. And of course, you know that our sister station is the home for the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, 105.5 Classic Rock, 105.5. You can hear the Bravos and Ben Ingram every I guess day that they're playing on 105.5. Should be a lot of fun. DJ.
Absolutely. So 105.5 for the Braves and 92.1 for the Clingstones, man. I tell you, I don't know if I'm more excited for the Clingstones or I'm for the Braves, but you know what? They happen to be on the same team. They wear the same jersey. So what the hell?
Yeah, exactly. And we may be seeing some stars in the near future. That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
Well, you know what? I'm just waiting on them to make the announcement that the rehab assignment for Kuno is going to be here in Columbus.
April 15th, opening day.
I'm just saying. I mean, it could be. I don't know. I mean, they didn't throw it out there. I just threw it out there, Richie.
I tell you one thing. As soon as we find out when the rehab assignment is for Ronald Acuna, Synovus Park will sell out. There will be standing room only in that park. I tell you, I as a member of somebody that was part of a minor league baseball team back in 2006 for the Chicago Cubs when Sammy Sosa got hurt, I remember that the tickets just sold out within hours.
Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something that for Ronald Acuna Jr. to take the field at inaugural Synovus Park?
Well, think of all the great baseball players that played at historic Golden Park.
Yeah.
You can add Ronald Acuna Jr.'s name to that list.
Yeah, if you got to love sports talk radio, man, we could just get crap going here. And I mean, we have no idea if Ronald Acuna Jr. is going to be down here doing an assignment or not. But just the thought of it, we can talk about it. I mean, we could talk it into existence, speak it into existence.
And that's what we're exactly trying to do. Or you can just go out and make a Facebook post that you heard Richard Holdridge say Acuna is coming down April the 15th. So if anyone gets disappointed it comes back on Big Rich.
What's up, Jack
man.
and Pete? I know y'all listening this morning, and the Clingstones will
Let
be
us
opening
know.
up. Hey, man, we're going on the road. Richard, you know what? You say we're thinking about riding down to Montgomery?
Oh, we might have a road trip. Coincidentally, my daughter's got a field trip to the Montgomery Zoo.
Wow.
But the Columbus Cleanstones take on the Montgomery Biscuits at Riverwalk Stadium in Montgomery, only an hour and a half away. You're a Cleanstones fan. You can make that trip down I-85, stop at Buc-ee's, and then head to the ballpark to see the Columbus Cleanstones April the 4th, as they are going to be on the road. They got a road series against Montgomery.
Yes.
And then they got a road series against the Biloxi Shuckers.
Right.
And then they are back at Synovus Park April the 15th against the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. Unfortunately, I will not be able to make the trip because I do have my military obligations, as it is my drill weekend for the National Guard.
Thrift, I've been sleeping on something here. We've been sleeping on something here with the best kept secret. Our Sportsvisions radio app is still up and running. And again, for the folks that want to follow the Clingstones games, of course, if they want to follow, hey, listen to the Sportsvisions morning show. Our Sportsvisions radio app. Go to your app store and just punch in. And again, you see this logo behind me. That's what you're cooking with gas. When you see that, when you go in the search for Sportsvisions app, that's what you get. But again, you could get that all over the world, man, all over the country. And again, we just been, I don't know, we got so much going on. We just really haven't been pushing that like we will be pushing.
Yeah. So the Sportsvisions radio app, download in your app store today. You just type in Sportsvisions, download it, and guess what? You can listen to the Clingstones whenever and however you like. Crystal clear streaming.
We're fired up and ready to go. Good Wednesday morning. And boy, I tell you what, it's hump day. We are halfway through the week. That's all. It's always great to get to the halfway point because you can see the finish line. You can see the end of the week. You can see Friday. You can see TGIF. And again, that's always important. But again, let me just share with these great guests we have with us today. You know what? We often talk about the great talent that come from the Chattahoochee Valley area over the years. But I'm gonna tell you something. We've been sleeping on a young man by the name of Oliver Davis. And again, Coach Davis, for those folks out there who had the privilege of course, coming under his tutelage as the football coach at Cedric High School and some other schools around the Chattahoochee Valley that he has coached and been the athletic director. Awesome. Well, we're going to have him on, guys, this morning at 7 o'clock. Oliver Davis, OD. He is, of course, really, really good friends to our good buddies, Bunk Johnson and Otis Sistrunk. These guys, they travel all three together. They go around doing some wonderful good in the city. But the fact of the matter is, Oliver Davis is a former Tennessee State, of course, all-star defensive back. And he's also a former Cincinnati Bengal who actually played for a Super Bowl team. But he has recently been inducted into the Russell County, I don't know if it's the official name, but it's Russell County started then in inaugural Hall of Fame.
Awesome.
And he'll be with us to share that information. And again, he probably be checking in from out at Bull Creek Golf Course, if I'm not mistaken, because he usually plays around in golf on Wednesday with this crew, and that's what retired guys do that have been successful. I understand, Thrift, and we got to make an appearance. We might, Thrift, just do a show, Richard, because I'm understanding that Bull Creek Golf Course is the space for all the ex-coaches and athletic directors and all the administrators and a lot of the corporate guys. I mean, so it's like they got their own country club without being a country club.
Yeah, exactly. And it would be awesome to be there in attendance for that, man. It's absolutely beautiful and breathtaking, and one of the things that we should be bragging about here in the city of Columbus.
Absolutely. So we're going to have Coach Oliver Davis on with us at 7 o'clock, and Tony Reese from WTVM. And I tell you what, they've been all over the place, man. I saw them doing a shoot. Him and Drew Pavon, they were on boots on the ground up at Truist Park, man. And I know that, they got some exciting promos that are going to be running. But we'll talk to Tony and see, again, where they've been and what they've been able to do. I know when we called him the other day for the show, Thrift, he was actually in Lexington, I believe. Yeah,
he was, man. So he was in Lexington covering Auburn Tigers, and they went to Atlanta to interview some of the Bravos. And then I think they're going to be back up in Atlanta for the Sweet 16. So they're all over the place, man. Great job by WTVM.
Absolutely. Stephen Smith, again, Stephen M. Smith, our guy over in Tuscaloosa. We're going to be talking Alabama, all things Alabama, of course, including we're going to get, again, a little report, not only from the fact of that they are going to be playing in the Sweet 16. The fact of the matter is that spring practice is going on. And, of course, Kalen DeBar is, again, he's trying to concoct a new potion so that he could come out and satisfy these Alabama fans. We'll get a report about how the Bama team is doing. Also, word on the street, and we reported it, about last week when during Pro Day over in Alabama that, Jalen Milroe had run a 4.37 in the 40-yard dash. Now, again, we know that Steven will be the guy that can cross the T's and dot the I's on that. But the fact of the matter is, Jalen Milroe, I don't know if he's moving up in the draft or if he's moving down in the draft, folks. But I do know that a lot has been said about Shedeur Sanders. And again, all of this mouthy stuff this time of year, it's just games that they're playing, the chess games. You're trying to one-up somebody or downplay somebody so that you can get in a position to take the guy that you want. So I don't know if I believe any of that stuff, Richard.
I do believe that there is one thing that's going to happen with Jalen Milroe, whether or not he gets drafted high or drafted in the mid rounds. He's going to be a backup in the NFL. Sometime in the NFL season, he is going to make an impact. And people are going to notice, oh, wow, Jalen Milroe, like he rushed for 3 rushing touchdowns. They brought him into the game. Even if he was a backup, he's a playmaker. He's going to find a way to get on an NFL roster, and he is going to make plays in the NFL.
Stephen M. Smith will join us about 8:15-ish to fill us in on all of that information. And again, last but not least, at 8:30, we're going to have only on the Sportsvisions morning show, the only African-American PGA caddy. His name is Cedric Lamar. He's a good buddy of mine, and we used to, run him crazy. He was the golf pro at Chastain Park in Atlanta, and myself, Drew Hill, Alfonso Carricker, and Andre Townsend, and a bunch of us used to play golf in Atlanta and in Buckhead at Chastain. And we didn't know, I didn't know what I was doing, but I just, and I was cheering and yelling and running on the courses until I, knew better, until I understood and started to respect golf etiquette. But Cedric Lamar, of course, he's he'll be boots on the ground on location in Houston, home of the Houston Open. I almost said Houston Oilers. Houston Open, he has a tour event there. He's with one of his clients. He'll be caddying there this week, and he's going to be joining us this morning. It'll be, of course, 7:30 in Houston, but he'll be 8:30. He's scheduled to join us at 8:30. 706-324-1420 is the number to call. We appreciate anybody that has anything to say about sports today, of whether they want to talk about the Sweet 16, whether they want to talk about opening day with the Braves, whatever you want to throw at Thrift and I. And also, we appreciate our great friends out there on, of course, our Facebook page. Rick Beach, good morning. How are you, sir? We appreciate you, buddy.
Rick Beach, love him. Appreciate him always tuning in. And he had an incredible call last night. You can go back and watch on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live YouTube channel and also on Kudzu Facebook. He put it up. They played Central Carroll. Harris County did. Central Carroll was undefeated, ranked number 3 in the state, and they took them down 4-3. What a win for County. And then Northside beat Stars Mill, the defending back-to-back 4A state champion. So now we got maybe a Harris County Northside collision course coming up in the next couple weeks in baseball. I'm telling you, you need to go out and see some of these teams, EJ. They are pretty good.
Rick Beach always giving us what's happening in the county. Richard, I know you were on the call yesterday.
Yeah, and a big shout out to Gerald Bedgood listening from the north side. He was really my eyes and ears. He was sitting to my right on that Columbus Hardaway game. I dubbed it the Midtown Showdown Baseball Edition. Kind of nice, catchy name to it.
Yeah,
it was just a back and forth game. Columbus took the 10-1 lead. Hardaway, which is a scrappy team, they do not quit. They almost came back and won that game. They had the bases loaded. They were down 11-10, bottom of the 7th inning, and it was just a high fly ball to center field. Columbus sneaks by and gets the win. But Gerald Bedgood was giving me score updates, and he was kind of giving me inside. I have that extra mic. I should have invited him to be my color guy, but I know that he was having fun. He goes to all the Columbus games. He has his chair sitting right behind a home plate.
All about it. Yep.
He loves Columbus baseball and really very knowledgeable, and I appreciate Gerald.
You know what? When you mentioned Gerald and giving you scores and sitting back there, if you remember, we used to call these ball games down at Memorial Stadium and other places, and Gerald would be our guy, our score guy. He would get all the scores from all around the state, all around the region, and he was right there, spot on.
Yeah.
And Gerald he's a rock star, man. We love him, and of course,
where did Sportsvisions?
He is a member of the Sportsvisions team, and of course, he knows that. And I was actually I'm going to be looking forward to seeing him on Thursday, April the 17th, where we will honor over 40 of the top female athletes, guys. And listen to this, over 40 of the top female athletes in East Alabama and West Central Georgia. And, of course, with Sportsvisions' 10th annual Female Athletes of the Year Award. And, again, we're talking about athletes, again, everybody gets, and I want to make sure, and I got to keep mentioning this because people get so locked into basketball and softball. But you know what? You got swimming and gymnastics and cheerleading and dance team. These are athletes, too, that contribute to the success of these programs. And I was really emphasizing to the athletic directors to please give some consideration to, some of the other sports. It's golf, tennis. I mean, these are young ladies that, we want the best from the schools. And sometimes, you know what? And I know that basketball has just ended and we've had some outstanding players and some outstanding play. But you know what? They've gotten some flowers. So, spread the wealth around a little bit. And, you don't, unless you just have that elite level thrift that you can't, you just can't pass over. But you know what? Athletes, they come in all sports, all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, they do. And I think that, again, especially this year with Georgia Alabama Sports Live, hitting lacrosse, hitting flag football, wrestling, volleyball. There has been esports. There's been so many different great athletes. We got track and field going on right now, tennis, golf. We want to make sure we shine a light on every single sport that's out there competing because we got at least one school competing for a state championship and cannot wait for the 10th annual Female Awards Luncheon.
And, of course, you know what? We got to announce. I did announce yesterday, or at least I put out on social media, our guest speaker will be Tawana Williams. Miss Williams was a fantastic athlete, and I think she's going to have some great words of wisdom to not only the players, but the coaches and anybody else that'll be in the audience. Tawana was inducted into the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame back in February. She had already been inducted into a couple of Hall of Fames, the Jordan High School Hall of Sports Hall of Fame, as well as Albany State Hall of Fame. And again, back in the early 80s or mid 80s, actually, she put basketball or helped put basketball on the map. So when you mention the names of Loretta Cobb as a guard, as a shooter, you have to be right in rotation with Tawana Williams, Tree. They called her Tree. She was, she controlled the paint. She was very skilled and very talented. She coached some years down at Albany State as well as coached over at Jordan, but she's a special education teacher now at over in Jordan. And I'll tell you what, looking forward to her speaking and giving the girls some words of wisdom, Thrift.
She was a great interview when she came on Sportsvisions just a few weeks ago before she got inducted into the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame. Was a phenomenal athlete, well-spoken during that interview. Cannot wait to see her and you talk during the Females Awards Luncheon. DJ.
Absolutely. Got a chance to talk to Ms. Williams yesterday. And again, we're going to try to get her on the show here prior to the luncheon on April 17th. But excited about it all. We're going to award some great coaches, some great athletes. It's been a great year, Thrift. And again, it's just synonymous with what you guys are doing at Georgia Alabama Sports Live with all the different sports. It's just we can, and I'm sure you'll elaborate on the schedule, and you'll make sure, and I'm sure the kids will recognize you too, because it's just a phenomenal thing that of the diversity of sports that you're able to bring to this community. And you and Richard and the rest of the crew, Rick Beach, and I don't even know all the names of your roster, but I guess you can make do with that. But again, you guys do a great job, and again, the multiple sports. And again, a lot of people say, well, why do they do this? And why do they do? Well, they do it because these kids deserve to have it done. I mean, and you would want it too if your kids. I had a lady to call me yesterday, and I'm going to say this because it was great. I need that feedback. I want that feedback even on this show. I want you to engage with us because a lady called yesterday, I guess shortly after seeing the post about the Female Athlete of the Year awards, and she was saying, "Hey DJ, why don't you guys honor wrestling?" And, I said, ma'am, we do. I said, Russell Scott, a good friend of mine, a frat brother, athletic director up at Jordan High School. We've honored some of his female wrestlers. And I guess, I don't know whether she was calling on behalf of her son or whatever, but, we had a great conversation. And I told her, as I tell anybody through and this, we're just one operation, Sportsvisions is. And as we do these awards ceremonies, and you know what? You can do a whole lot with a big budget, and I would love to be able to do, golf, tennis, baseball, softball. Softball is included in the girls, but all the sports that don't have an opportunity to have a luncheon. And as I was explaining, it's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work that goes in. Even aside over and beyond the money, having the money is one thing, but having the persons that can put it all together. And again, it takes time, and it takes money, and it takes a great deal of effort. And you know what? I would love to be able to honor and have a big award ceremony. We talked about baseball. I've talked about baseball for the past few years. They definitely deserve to have an awards, and I'm still working on it. But at the same time, as you listen to what I'm saying out there, if you're in a position, if your company is in a position to help us, and that's what sponsors do, they provide the funds and the means, and again, they get the benefit of helping in the community and taking the front page, such as some of the other companies. Aflac is a great partner of ours, and they step up to the plate. And there's a lot of other companies out there that have the same means. But again, I just thought I needed to say that, Thrift.
Yeah, exactly though. And to be able to accomplish stuff like this, you don't turn a light on at St. Luke Ministry Center and people just start showing up and you're handing out trophies. And I know this is, we get this all the time, man. Everybody wants to be recognized because you start doing one sport, then every sport feels like they deserve the same justice. And I get it. And I know that some of the major sports get a little bit more love, but it's not just here in high school. It's in every aspect, man. It's just hard to hit 12 sports and have 14 different luncheons. But that's why we got the morning show. And if you want to be able to handle something like that, I promise you, DJ or coordinate it. It's just got to find the funding to be able to do something like that.
You couldn't have said it any better. And Richard, I know that I'll give you an opportunity to speak to that as well, because you have been a part of that for the past several years as well.
Yeah, we've been boots on ground at a lot of these events for Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And these smaller sports aren't getting the recognition that they deserve. But as far as an awards luncheon, we have the football, the basketball, and the female awards luncheon on the horizon. Is there a possibility for other? Yeah, like Thrift mentioned, we've got to have funding, and really it doesn't happen overnight. It's got to be pre-planned. I think it could be a great idea down the future, but for the time being, we want to just use this platform and give their love that they deserve, because we want to put them in the spotlight with Georgia Alabama Sports Live as well.
While we're on that subject, and again, it's easy to say, you should do this, you should do that, you should have a parade for this team and a big ceremony. But, again, it takes manpower. It takes know-how. It's just, you don't just, close your eyes and snap your fingers and this happens. It takes professional people that, to coordinate. And again, you can, I understand. Let me back up. Let me slow down because again, you can just throw some things together. If you want to do something, half, but, again, but the way we do it and the way the kids deserve the professional, luncheons, the professional, nice parades, or whatever it is that you're going to do it first class, because again, it may be maybe that's the problem. Maybe, my expectations are too great for these men, but I'm not one. And I, as a former athlete here locally, as well as in college and in professional ranks, I just have been exposed to events. I've been exposed to luncheons and banquets where they were done nice and classy and where kids can appreciate it, where I could appreciate it long after my years. And again, it's not going to just throw something together in the park, in the side of the street, the side of the road, or it's just not. No, that's not what we do. I'm sorry if that's what you guys want to do, have at it. But we just don't operate that way.
No. And if we're going to do something, we're not going to do it half-butt. We're going to be going all the way and showing everyone what they deserve and how this is how you're supposed to have an event like that.
And, of course, that's in everything we do, Thrift. The broadcast that you guys, that's what, those broadcasts are just as professional from every sport, Richard, that you guys do. You guys, this is a career. This is something that this is our job. This is our career. This is our passion. And that's why I don't mean to sound arrogant, but that's, again, for the same persons that go to work every day at the bank or at the insurance company or at the, Pratt and Whitney, wherever you go to work, that you take it, that's your livelihood. That's how you take care of your family. That's how you take great pride in your education and all your talents and gifts, your trade. So that's what it is for us. I know it's fun. It seems like funny games, and it is. It's fun. But fortunately for us, we take it a step further, and we want to make sure that we do it to the best of our ability.
If you're going to spend money, you're going to do it right, DJ.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to go ahead and take our first break of the day. You are watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
I know that I don't make things clear. I fall for you every time I try to resist you. We can get away. Palm trees, beach views.
This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Let's do this.
Sports Visions 92.1.
Good morning. I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. A Lee County jury is hearing testimony in the trial of Jamario Mitchell, accused of killing his girlfriend's toddler, Ivy Baker. Prosecutors say the 2-year-old died from multiple injuries, including a skull fracture. Mitchell allegedly delayed calling 911, instead suggesting home remedies. His defense attorneys denies any direct evidence linking him to her death. There are new details on Monday's 10th Street shooting. Roy Foster is charged with aggravated assault after allegedly shooting a person in the chest. The victim was taken to Piedmont Columbus Regional. Foster, also facing a gun charge, is in the Muskogee County Jail and appears in court this afternoon. The Georgia Senate has passed a bill banning kindergarten through 8th grade students from using phones or personal devices during school hours. With a 54-2 vote, it now heads to Governor Brian Kemp's desk. Exceptions are made for medical or intellectual disability needs. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
Good Wednesday morning. We are starting off the day chilly under some clear skies, and those readings are near 50, but we're going to be tracking plenty of sunshine again today, along with some warm temperatures with those highs near 80. Breezy at times with gusts reaching 20 miles per hour throughout the afternoon and early evening. Tonight, mostly clear and chilly with those lows falling near 50 again. Tracking a warm Thursday and Friday with these readings climbing in the low 80s. We are still tracking rain chances over the weekend.
Attorney advertised. Local counsel, Alexander should not run trial attorneys. Paid after dramatization. Past results do not guarantee future results in each case. You got to be a believer. You can't have no doubt in your head. You got to believe that if you call Top Dog, that dog's going to go out and bite somebody and bring you back some money. You ever play fetch with a dog? You ever make a dog go fetch? You ever see a dog come back with money? I have. My friend was telling me he got into an accident. He ain't called Top Dog, he called somebody else. Settlement check was $20,000. The attorney wanted $15,000 of it. Left with $5,000. Like, that's crazy. How that work? That's crazy. It's like he got into the accident. He got more than you. That's crazy. Call Top Dog, you get into an accident. Big or small, you make the call. Life or death, you make the call. Top Dog Law.
Protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive so you can stop worrying about them and invent new things to worry about, like snakes in your bedroom. Sure, that sounds incredibly irrational, but now that we've mentioned it, you are a little worried. The odds of one snake, let alone snakes plural, are so slim. But you might want to check. Oh, you're not near your bedroom. Guess you'll just have to sit there and worry about it. So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
How clean is the water you're drinking and bathing in? If you call Aquasana Water today, they'll provide you with a free assessment telling you the condition of your tap water. Aquasana sells whole house water filters starting at $1,000. Isn't that worth it to have a 10-year supply of filtered, cleaner water? Aquasana water filters tackle chlorine taste and odor and can reduce contaminants like viruses, lead, forever chemicals, and microplastics, depending on the system you purchased. So make the free call, find out the condition of your water, and make your water cleaner the Aquasana way. It's a smart decision for you and your family and a must for a healthy home. Get a whole house Aquasana water system starting at $1,000 for your entire home. Call and find out the condition of your water with a free water assessment. 800-934-3021. 800-934-3021. 800-934-3021. That's 800-934-3021.
This hour of the Sportsvisions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases. Your home for Falcons football. Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Dress it up and make it real for me.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer, and Richard Holdridge in the building. We're broadcasting live from the PMB studios in beautiful Midtown Columbus, of course, in the shadows of the Aflac Tower. Man, I tell you, it's just a great, great day. It's actually, several days into the spring now. Spring was officially mentioned when? Friday?
March 21st.
March 21st. March 21st, 2 days before my birthday. So, yeah, Friday. Last Friday was officially spring. We are here. And you know why we know why we know it's here?
Because the pollen.
Yeah, because the pollen. You and Richard are just, and I'm just, look, man, I'm not picking at you guys because
How are you not battling?
I went through it, and I guess as you grow older, that little old pollen, man, I guess my body's rejecting it in a way that is for the good. But I tell you, man, I can remember those days being stuffy, eyes bloodshot, itching. I mean, I wanted to take my eyeballs out and rinse them off every 2 or 3 hours, man. I mean, that was just that bad.
Yeah, that's how I feel every time I walk outside. So yesterday, went out and ran for the first time in a long time with me and the dogs. And when I came back in, I was good until about the very end and sneezed about 30 times in a row. And it looked like my face, my eyes, I couldn't open up. It was just a big puffball, man. So take care of yourself. Take your allergy medicine like I have been doing. Any other remedies, because it's war right now between us and the pollen.
Let me give you a little secret, Thrift, that you probably know. And, of course, Richard, you guys are up on this. But for the Sports Visions Nation, obviously, when you're outdoors and you're operating in all of this pollen, the pollen gets into your clothes, it gets into your hair, it gets into your mustache. Thank God I don't have to worry about that. But Thrift, I see why you keep your hair up. If that's not a reason, that is, now, because if you let your hair down and you go outside and you
it's
come back,
everything.
Yeah. So what I'm saying to you is that, whether I don't know how long you stay up, but it might be cool to, take multiple showers and change clothes if you're out and you come home from work, because if you do that and then you turn around and get into bed with the pollen in your hair and on your mustache, it's going to be on your pillow.
Yep.
So you're never going to get rid of it, but you could cut down on the count, because again, it's a bad thing. And I hate it. I hate it for everybody. Cause I know how you feel.
Yeah. And if you look at the weather advisory, it says that just a few days ago, the air quality was absolutely horrible because it was just raining pollen. It has gotten a little bit better now with the rain coming through, and I'm always about any rain. April showers, bring them in and wash that pollen away.
Guys, I know that it's opening day tomorrow for Major League Baseball, and it's of course the start of March Madness, the Sweet 16. But I don't know what what are you going to do? You guys are going to just flip back and forth between the channels of the basketball games, the college basketball games, and the Major League games? How are you going to handle that, Thrift?
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back and forth, maybe have one on my phone, one on the major TV, and can't wait. It's baseball season. This is a good time right now. Baseball, basketball, Masters starting next week too. I mean, got a lot happening around the water for water sports. I know it's a good time to be alive.
Richard, what's your approach?
Well, I actually, I'll have multiple devices. I'll watch opening day for Major League Baseball. Luckily, the Sweet 16 games don't happen till later that afternoon. I actually am thinking about this. We're forgetting another big sporting event, and I could not mention this sport because, we have some wrestling fans, Jack and Rex. WrestleMania is this next weekend.
Woohoo!
I just wanted them to throw that out there because I know they're big wrestling fans.
Where's it going to be?
That I'll have to look up because I'm not really
Rich, if you're going to shout something out, you better know the information now. Come on.
I know he was
He
in
said
LA
it like it's coming to Columbus. You know what I mean?
That's right. You're bragging about it like it's about to be at the Civic Center next weekend.
And even though I know that, if in fact that was the matter, Jack would have already been, he was on the other day. He would have
said
already.
something. Yeah.
Rex was on the other day. He would have said something
Well,
about it.
it's usually the first week in April, but it's actually April 19th through the 20th. So I need to make sure to get my facts right. It's actually going to be it was in Philadelphia last year.
Yeah.
So I'll try to get where the location is for that.
Yeah, well, once again, big shout out to, of course, all 7 of the teams that from the SEC that made it to the Sweet 16. And again, guys, I know that people are kind of turning their nose up at us folks from down south, and of course those of us who represent and of course rep the Southeastern Conference. The fact of the matter is that we got one hell of a basketball program here in our conference with all these institutions. 14 teams were invited to the big dance. 14 out of 16. Now, only 2 teams that did not make it, that did not get the official call. Now that we're down to 16 through, it's just phenomenal. And it's a record-breaking, record-shattering news of the fact that 7 teams out of the 16 are from the SEC.
This is an historic year for what has been an incredible conference. And I honestly think they're going to have up to 5 teams in the Elite 8, and I think they're going to get multiple teams in the Final 4. This is the year of the SEC. This is the year of the major conferences. And I know everybody's talking about this NIL transfer portals change, the Cinderella story, but this is the way I like it. And I can't wait to see every single one of these Sweet 16 games. I would say the only game in which SEC teams would not be favored would be Arkansas and Ole Miss. I won't count Tennessee and Kentucky. They face off against each other. So obviously one of them have to be not favored. So I'm not saying that's a game that doesn't have someone favored, but Arkansas and Ole Miss, that's 5 other teams that are favored to win their game that we could have in the Elite 8 or more.
We talked about the conference. We talk about the teams that are in the Sweet 16. But again, when you talk about the Associated Press All-American team, the fact of the matter is that out of the 2 teams, you got 3 of the first 5 on the first team that are from the SEC. And I'm talking about, of course, not only Janai Broome from Auburn, you consider Mark Sears and Walter Clayton from Florida. That's 3 of the top 5 players in the nation, according to the All-American team. Again, that's total dominance. Total dominance.
Yeah, that first team is legit. Obviously, all the attention is going on Cooper Flagg because he's projected to be the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft. You can't forget about Braden Smith. I'm impressed Purdue is back in the Sweet 16 after losing a player like Zach Edey. They came so close in the championship last year. But, yeah, the dominance, and not only for the 7 teams that are left in the Sweet 16, but some of the players, like you mentioned, a Janai Broome, a Mark Sears, and a Walter Clayton. I mean, that is legit. And I know that being an SEC fan, I'm rooting to get 4 teams in the Final 4. Probably not going to happen. But I think at least we might see that Auburn-Florida Final 4 matchup on that left side of the bracket.
And on top of all of that, guys, since we're talking individual talent, we know that Janai Broome is a walking double-double as he has led Auburn for the most of the year. 18 points to 10 rebounds a game, but he's also up for the college basketball's most prestigious award, and that's, of course, that's the that's the Naismith Award, don't you, Thrift?
Yeah, it is, man, and the Naismith Award winner. And this guy, I think it goes to Broome. I don't think it goes to Cooper Flagg. That's just in my opinion, because I think what Auburn did was a little bit tougher than what Duke did, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cooper Flagg did get it. Those 2 guys are at the top of the list, and there's really no one else.
Well, what I do know is that Broome has already been named Sporting News National Player of the Year, and he's also the SEC Player of the Year. Just a phenomenal talent. Then again, now this has nothing to do with the draft status or rankings as far as the NBA is concerned, but this is as far as college basketball is concerned. And for Broome, and I wouldn't say he put Auburn on his back, but I will say he put Auburn on his back in 8 consecutive weeks that they ranked number 1 in the Associated Press poll. He might not necessarily be the flashiest or the most watched or the must see TV kind of guy, Richard, but the guy has done quite well, and he's very, very deserving.
Janai Broome has used his experience being the player that he has been, and he put this Auburn team on his back. Even when he was injured in the middle of the season, Auburn did not skip a beat. Yeah, they struggled down the stretch toward the regular season, but they were playing great teams on the road. And then that buzzer beater by Mark Sears against Alabama. They came up short in the SEC tournament, but Auburn, overall number 1 seed, they got the prize is at hand, at least to get to the Final Four. I know they're thinking championship aspirations, but you got to give credit to Janai Broome and just a walking double-double. I mean, I'm kind of curious to see where his draft stock is for the NBA draft, because I think he's going to be an NBA player, possibly even a lottery pick. But I'm curious to see what the mock drafts look like for Janai Broome.
Guys, while we're talking basketball, we just might as well go right up the road there and talk about the Atlanta Hawks. And again, time is running out through. If I know we love our guy Steve Holman, but they took another one under the chin out at the Toyota Center last night, losing to the Houston Rockets, 121-114. And Dyson Daniel and Trae Young both had 19 points apiece, and Zach Richardson had 18 points. And of course, one thing about it, they had a 29-8 run in the fourth quarter and still weren't able. It wasn't enough. But, again, how much just probably a couple of more games left in the regular season if my mind or if my schedule shows me correctly. But on the flip side of that, your guy SGA, man, they won out of OKC. They won 60 games. That's the quickest to 60 games in NBA history. Thrift, what makes SGA so good?
He's elusive. You can't stay in front of him. He's just flat out the best scorer we have in the NBA right now, and is going to win the MVP this year. 60 wins. They're 16-12. I don't know if they get to 70, but I do think that they get maybe to 68. This has been an incredible year, and they're playing the best basketball. And right now, there are 10 games left for majority of the teams midway through April. I think the last week of the regular season comes up April. I think it's the April the 13th. Yep, Sunday, April 13th. So it's midway through April, and then we start playoffs that week as well. But Oklahoma City playing the best basketball, better than anyone right now. And Hawks losing to Houston, not a bad loss. DJ, consider the fact that they're number 2 seed, and right now they're on a 10-game winning streak.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's what SGA stands for. And Thrift, again, this is a name that people are starting. You better pay attention because this guy he's taking on the NBA by storm. And I know that we don't follow OKC. We don't, for that matter, in this region, we don't get to see a whole lot of the OKC games. But you know what? Winning 60 games, and taking their place in NBA history. 60 games, the quickest to 60 games, and of course he's had multiple. Not just 20-point games. He's had over 30-point games in many of those 60 victories.
To have a franchise like Oklahoma City, and I know several people that live in Oklahoma, they love the Thunder in Oklahoma City. It's the only team in that market. And they went to the finals in 2012 with KD, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. And just to see a player that the Clippers just gave away in that Paul George trade, and OKC has got a gem in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and it's the players around him, like a Jalen Williams, a Chet Holmgren, a Dort, just an elite defender. I think that Oklahoma City, I want to see them get to the NBA Finals, but the number 1 seed doesn't always necessarily translate to winning in the playoffs. They're going to have home court, but there's going to be some tough teams like Denver, like the Warriors now with Jimmy Butler, that could give them trouble. But it's a good story. I hope that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander gets MVP because he deserves it. And the city of Oklahoma City deserves to see the Thunder back in the NBA Finals and possibly win a championship.
Thrift, what do you know about Alexander? Where did he come from? I mean, it's the guys. He's the budding superstar in the NBA, if not already a superstar in the NBA.
32 points a game. Came from Kentucky, and this got drafted by the Clippers, but then the Clippers traded him for that Paul George trade that, obviously, looking back on it, they probably wish they never did, but it did happen. And if that shows you why Sam Presti is one of the best GMs in basketball. He's a phenomenal player, and he leads the league in scoring. But Nikola Jokic is putting up 29, 12, and 10. A triple-double for a center is unheard of, man. I know Shai's going to get it. They got the best record, but I still feel like the best player is Nikola Jokic, the Joker.
Nikola Jokic. All right, while we're talking the NBA, man, we might as well check in on a team that had a blockbuster trade, several weeks back. And, of course, I'm talking about Luka Doncic going to the Los Angeles Lakers, and of course Anthony Davis leaving the Lakers, going to Dallas. So again, in your mind, in your estimation, Thrift, what's the latest?
Latest is the Lakers are 43-28 right now on the season. They are in 5th place. If they stay within 4th or 5th, they would play OKC in the second round, and they would get right now Memphis in the first round. They're just trying to get LeBron back healthy. He did return this past weekend. They're not playing their best basketball as of lately. They're actually 3-7 in their last 10. They've lost 3 in a row. But the Lakers will be fine by the time the playoffs start, and same with Golden State. So I cannot wait for that Western Conference playoffs, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We told you at 7 o'clock we were going to have Coach Oliver Davis with us, but you know what? He's here now, and of course he's out at golf course, and I'd love to bring him on the Sports Visions Morning Show. Welcome, Coach. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful morning to get started here.
Absolutely. What course are you at, Coach?
I'm at the Auburn Robert Trent Jones Trail, and we're going to play 18 hole with about 12 guys and try to have a little fun and enjoy ourselves.
Well, good deal. Good deal. Thank you for joining us this morning, and it's a pleasure for you to come on, because I want the Sports Visions Nation to not only celebrate you and give you your flowers while you're here, but it's deserving. First and foremost, there was an inaugural Hall of Fame established in Russell County, and most recently, and you were a member of that class. Tell us all about it.
Well, I've been really blessed, DJ, that God has blessed me with 1,001 things to be grateful for, and that was just one of them. That I got recognized by the Russell County School District Foundation to be a part of the inaugural Hall of Fame celebration about 2 weeks ago. Thanks to the committee, the superintendent there, Dr. Brenda Coley, for acknowledging me and recognizing me, and I'm so grateful and thankful to have the opportunity to work in that school system for several years.
Coach, I know that your buddies are watching this right now. They're saying, "That's my boy OD." Hey, look. Let's for Monk and Otis. Let's walk everybody back down memory lane and talk about where you played, where you grew up, where you played your high school ball, and of course, we know where you went to college and in your illustrious professional career.
Okay, I came from Mount High School down in Fort Mitchell, Alabama. I tell people I went from chasing pigs to teaching kids. I went from chasing buses to driving buses. I went from playing on a country dirt road to playing in the greatest stage of all, the Super Bowl. Right. So I come a long way in a lot of different things, and I'm fortunate enough to get a scholarship to Tennessee State University, where I played with Too Tall Jones and a couple of other great NFL Hall of Famers there, and got drafted by the Cleveland Browns in 1977 at their 4th round draft choice. And I'm trying to dodge that noise from the blower because it's still early up here.
Yeah.
And I'm also, I was their number 1 cornerback for 4 years for the Cleveland Browns. Then I went to the Cincinnati Bengals, while Forrest Gregg was my head football coach, who also drafted me for the Cleveland Browns. And we got an opportunity to play in Super Bowl 16 during his tenure with the Bengals. And after I left the Bengals, I went to the USFL and played in USFL for its duration of time. And when we won the first USFL championship, and also was a runner-up for the last USFL championship. So I have nothing to complain about. I was blessed enough to leave out there with not a whole lot of injuries, but some, and still be able to walk and talk and make a contribution back to the community.
Who were some of the guys you looked up to and had a big mentor or were mentors in your life growing up playing and getting to the NFL?
I had to start off with my coach, my defense coordinator, Coach Joe W. Gilliam, who was also the father of Jefferson Street Gilliam, who was the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
He was my main mentor, who kept me on track and made sure that I did all the things I need to do to be a professional. Not just to be a football player, to be a professional. And that's from being a man, from growing up to being a boy to a man.
Coach, you were also part of those Cleveland Browns teams that were dubbed the Cardiac Kids.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about what that experience was like playing in all those close games and actually taking the Oakland Raiders down to the wire in 1980. That was just a great time for the city of Cleveland. But you guys had a lot of fun being known as the Cardiac Kids.
Yeah, that was a great year. It seemed like every game that we got into, it came to the last 2 minutes that somebody stepped up to make a big play to win the ball game in the last minute or two in the ball game. If it wasn't the defense, it was the offense. If it wasn't the offense, it was a special team guy that did something fantastic to turn the game around to allow us to have that great season as the Cardiac Kids. And during that same year, the year that we took the Raiders to the end of the wire, I always tell older sister, that's the year y'all took the Super Bowl from us, because we should have been in the Super Bowl still there.
Oliver Davis, Oliver O.D. Davis is known, of course, to all of his friends. He's a Hall of Famer, and we're having him right here on the Sports Visions Morning Show. Man, I tell you what, you are a humble guy. There's a lot of people that are getting this information for the first time, man, again, that see you and pass by you and talk to you and of course, play golf with you every day. Some of them don't know some of the facts that you just gave, and I appreciate you for that, man, because obviously there's a lot of kids, a lot of coaches standing on their shoulders here in this community because of you. And, of course, we know what you have done as a coach, as an athletic director in this system. But what was most important, or what was most, I guess I could say it like this. What did you take more pride in? Did you take more pride in playing the game or teaching the game of life to these kids?
Well, a little bit of both. Took pride in playing the game and made it a priority. Then once I left that priority, I made the kids a priority, give them the same opportunity that I had as much as I possibly could to share with them of what was basically out there for them. And I leave those things with them. And I said to them, I say, there's 3 things you got to do. You got to have faith. You got to dream big, and you got to believe. If you have a good, strong faith, it'll get you not only through the good time, but it'll get you through those rough times too. And if you dream big, you never know what may come out of your dream. And when you believe in yourself of all things. Because once you believe, there's nothing you're not capable of doing.
Some great words, OD. But I'm going to tell you, I've been in some rooms with you, and I know for a fact that these folks had no idea that you had been in the Super Bowl, had no idea that you have been drafted, and have no idea that you've been coached by Coach Gilliam at Start at Tennessee State. Man, and you sit and you navigate, and it might be something good because people don't rush you and want to take pictures and pose on your privacy. But right here in Columbus, man, I tell you, it's a great place to be. But you are truly a gem. You're truly it's special to have you in this community, man. And I'm just happy to have you on the show because, again, it's been a long time coming. I know we've had you on before, but to be on as a most recent Hall of Famer out of Russell County, the school district, I believe you said, the Russell County School District Hall of Fame. Man, I tell you, I'm happy to share your good news.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you and the group there to allow me to be on the show for you this morning to let me tell my story. Absolutely. A little bit of it anyway.
Yeah, just a little bit of it. We'll get you back to tell more of it. But I want you to give a shout out to you guys, man, because the job that you, Monk, and of course Otis do in the community. You guys are, like triplets, man. You guys, when I see one of you, I see all of you, when you're doing your thing. But what made that so special?
Well, we both played together in one way or another. With Monk, it was through college, and also he played in the league as well. And it was also in the league. And when we all got back together, we kind of bonded real good. We call ourselves the Three Amigos because most of the time we hanging out together doing something. If we're not eating breakfast, we're working in the community doing something to give the kids opportunity to see that there's an opportunity for them. You just got to work at it. You got to work at it. We tell them that a lot of people like to break in the houses. We like to break in the gyms and work out. That's the only way we can win.
I got you. Coach, you got to talk a little bit about that golf, man. You got that. That's an integral part of your life now. You're over at Robert Trent Jones playing in the tournament. And, of course, you also got a regular group out at Bull Creek that you play. Tell us all about that golf experience in retirement.
I did not have any love for golf at all. And all of a sudden, guys said, man, you can't play tennis. You can't play basketball for the rest of your life. Your legs going to give away. And all of that was true. Now, golf is my livelihood. It's probably the one thing that really saving my life right now to keep me mentally stable because it requires a lot of mental effort to play this game because it's not a game that you can perfect. And as an athlete, you always like challenges. And the challenge is to try to be the best golfer out here. Sometimes I do good and sometimes I don't. And when I do good, I feel good about it. I look forward to coming back out and playing again. But to get us also gives the opportunity is the main thing is that we get good camaraderie and fellowship with the guys that we're playing with from different areas of their careers right now. And a lot of them are retired. A lot of them are thinking about retiring. But it also gives them an outlet to enjoy themselves and still stay physically active as well, too.
Coach, you played during a time where you had this team in Cleveland and you transitioned over to Cincinnati, got to play in a Super Bowl. Just tell us a little bit about that experience of the Cincinnati Bengals playing in their first Super Bowl. And then in the state of Ohio, I mean, I know that you go from one rival to another. What was that transition like going from the Browns to the Bengals?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because there's a story behind that nobody really knows. That year, like I said earlier, that in my career, I was drafted by the Browns and Forrest Gregg was the head coach. 2 years later, they fired Forrest Gregg and he takes the job at Cincinnati. The Browns have always struggled with the Bengals in playing. The year that I got released from the Browns due to an injury, Forrest Gregg called me up and told me to come down there with him. The Browns said, don't go down there because we just want you to hang around here. So as soon as I got that call from Forrest Gregg, I was in my car headed down to Cincinnati. And when I got to the Bengals, they was 0-4, had not won a game. And when I got there, the next game on, we caught fire and won 10 games in a row. And next thing I know, we looking up, we headed to the Super Bowl. And as the Browns had a losing season, we had a successful winning season. And we went on from there to play in the next couple of playoffs, but never did make it back to the Super Bowl until 10 years later.
I'll tell you what, OD, those are some great stories. And again, I'm going to congratulate you on your most recent induction into the Hall of Fame. And again, hey, man, I wish you well today. And again, can't wait to have you back, man. As we get closer to the football season, I'm going to kick it around and use that expertise that you have as not only in coaching, but as a player in the National Football League and the Tennessee State University. You take care, my friend.
All right, thank you very much. I look forward to it. Hopefully I get a hold of one today. Haven't had one in my lifetime yet, but I'm still looking for it.
All right, Coach Oliver Davis, OD in the building.
Coach.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Keep the
Absolutely. Hey, man, I know you guys probably got some information that you had no idea. But again, those are the kinds of people that walking around in the streets of Columbus, Georgia right now. And again, another great friend, another great person, and so happy that we had him on. I tell you what, we'll take a short break. You're watching Facebook Live and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for waking up with the Sports Visions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Catch me at 9 a.m. every weekday morning, right here on Sports Visions 92.1.
The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
Uptown Spring Food Truck Festival is Saturday, March 29th in Uptown from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Woodford Park and Dillingham Street Bridge. Join them for over 30 food trucks, arts and craft vendors, beverages, a DJ, and fun.
Hey there, fellow travelers. It's me, the Hotel Whiz. Before you go anywhere, call me day or night for hotel rates too low to publish. I'll save you up to 75% on over 500,000 hotels across the globe. You see, I've already done the research, so you don't have to spend time online trying to find the best deal. That's up to 75% off. Just call me, the Hotel Whiz. It's a free call, and you get instant access to rates too low to publish with no cancellation fees.
Make a free call now and save up to 75% off your hotel rooms the next time you're going somewhere for business or pleasure. Call the Hotel Whiz now and get instant access to rates too low to publish.
800-710-3739. 800-710-3739. 800-710-3739. Call the Hotel Whiz right now at 800-710-3739.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. 783-8055. That's 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Corey's Furniture Express, your express way to save.
If you need furniture, you need to shop Gory's Furniture Express. Why? Well, their showroom is full of the finest furniture that money can buy, and their discounts throughout the store during Gory's Madness of March sale. Plus, they have their basketball goals set up inside where you can shoot for up to an additional 15% off, and that's only at Gory's Furniture, Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
Find all of your favorite Ford vehicles at Rivertown Ford in Columbus. SUVs to fit the whole family? Check. Performance muscle cars to hit the open road? Check. Tough trucks, compact crossovers, hybrids, and EVs of all shapes and sizes? Check, check, and check. With hundreds of new and used vehicles in stock, our team is dedicated to getting you behind the wheel of the Ford of your dreams. Whether you're leasing or purchasing your next Ford, visit us in person at our Columbus showroom, located at 1680 Whittlesey Road, for our signature personalized service. Or shop our extensive selection of vehicles online anytime at rivertownford.com. And remember, you'll never pay retail at Rivertown Ford. WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1, the only live and local sports morning show. It's the Sports Visions Morning Show with Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer on Sports Visions 92.1.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer, and Richard Holdridge. Good Wednesday morning, hump day. Boy, I tell you, man, I really was excited to get that interview with, of course, Coach Oliver Davis, affectionately known as OD. And again, for those folks out there that were listening and that were fortunate enough to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, this guy had one hell of a career. Not only, of course, growing up here in Mount Olive, going to Mount Olive High School, but going on to Tennessee State and being the spectacular player and playing for Joe Gilliam up there, Coach Joe Gilliam, and then, of course, being drafted into the NFL by the Cincinnati Bengals and playing for the Cleveland Browns. And I tell you, man, it's if you would, like I said, he's been in, as we were talking, Richard and I were talking off air. You know, he could be in the mall here, he could be in a restaurant, he could be in a lounge, or he could be on a golf course, and people will walk right past him and never know that this guy, the feats that he's had and the accomplishments that he's had. But he's a humble spirit, and again, mild mannered. And again, you wouldn't know any of this information if you didn't ask him.
No, you wouldn't at all. And this guy, I'm glad it came on the Sports Vision Morning Show to do exactly that. Shine a light on what he was able to accomplish, and hopefully gets that hole-in-one at RTJ today.
Well, congratulations for going into the Russell County School District's Hall of Fame. I believe that's the proper name. But, yeah, he's a very well-deserving guy, and a couple of more Hall of Fames that he definitely needs to be considered for as well, Richard. I know that he mentioned a name, Richard, and I got chills. I still get chills when I hear Forrest Gregg's name, and you're a big fan of Forrest Gregg, huh?
Well, I'm not necessarily a big fan. I know of him.
That's your favorite coach, Forrest Gregg?
He was featured on that ESPN 30 for 30 Pony Excess because he took over SMU after the death penalty. He was a hard-nosed coach. He played for Vince Lombardi, but I know that there's that connection. I don't know if you had a conversation with Oliver Davis about the experiences of playing for under Coach Forrest Gregg.
Oh, yeah, we've made mention to Forrest Gregg. And then, as a matter of fact, Coach Gregg, Oliver might have been Coach Gregg's one of his favorite players. I know that I wasn't very fond of him because, again, where I'm from, you know, I can appreciate old school coaching, but this guy took it to the 10th degree. When you talk about yelling and screaming at grown men, cursing and demeaning them, and that wasn't my style because, again, you know, Vince Dooley at Georgia, more importantly, was a guy that he ran his team like a corporate executive. He had assistant coaches and coordinators, you know, that did all of that coaching and all of that. But the head guy was cool. You know what? Forrest Gregg would come and get, and I was drafted by the Packers under Forrest Gregg. Ken Riley was my defensive back coach. But yeah, that was my experience was I couldn't take it. I really, really didn't appreciate, you know, a grown man screaming and yelling at me. And hell, if I can't get the job done, this is the pros, cut me. You know what I mean? You know, you don't just, you know, I mean, really, it was crazy, but very, very fortunate to have that opportunity. But again, did not enjoy the experience of Coach Gregg. Wasn't a big, and again, here, get this. Forrest Gregg was probably one of the most decorated offensive linemen in NFL history, was one of the favorite player of Vince Lombardi. You know, of course, he coached for many, many years to include with the Cleveland Browns, the Cincinnati Bengals. He coached in Canada. He coached at SMU. Very well-respected guy. But again, in 1984, 85, 86, he just wasn't one of my favorite people.
Yeah, and which I can understand, DJ. And I get hard coaching. I get being tough-nosed, but then there's a fine line. And I think we understood that, just like with Bobby Knight. As great as Bobby Knight is, some of that stuff, well, for one, would definitely not fly nowadays. There's no way kids would want to play for that. But for two, I love guys that have great mindsets and want to be, you know, very disciplined and very strict. But also, I think a little bit of that power and that ego gets to every human being. And when they feel like that's the nth degree they got to take it to, I don't think they know that line of respect. Oh, I'm disrespecting now. I don't even think they care at that point. I'm glad coaches have learned to, hey, you can be tough without being disrespectful, because I think that's where a lot of the older generation coaches, DJ, they didn't care about that line.
You're absolutely right. But getting back to Coach Davis, Coach Oliver Davis, you know, he was a phenomenal basketball player as well as a tennis player. And like he said, his knees went out. He had some injuries in the NFL, and you know, he was playing tennis and pickup basketball up until a few years ago, Thrift. And I'm surprised I didn't see him you didn't see him in the gym with you guys playing pickup. But then, too, again, I guess they're on different levels. You guys were playing that semi-pro level.
I don't know about semi-pro, but Oliver, Coach Davis was Kendrick for when some of my best friends were going there, like Cam Baker and them. So I love Coach Davis, love what he did, love his athletic ability, and hopefully he'll be in the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I'm going to be pushing for him. And, of course, Eddie Rush, the NBA official who grew up here in Columbus, Georgia, went to Spencer High School and Baker High School. He's another guy that candidate that we'd be pushing. And, of course, a guy by the name of Larry Bush.
You know I was about to come in
Absolutely.
with that.
These are we got a plethora of names of people we got to get behind here. And Thrift, obviously, nothing else. They'll be in the Sportsvisions Hall of Fame because we'll continue to talk about them until they get inducted into the respective Hall of Fames here in the community.
That's why we have this morning show, to be able to talk about all those things, DJ.
706-324-1420 is the number to call. 706-324-1420. If you guys are OD fans, oldest Oliver Davis fans, hey, call and wish him well, man. I mean, obviously, he has been tremendous in this community, and, of course, of what he's done over and beyond. It's just, you know, it's just a great to know that we have a guy like that in our community.
Exactly. And we need more guys like that in the community that want to get back, want to coach, mentor. Monk Johnson, Otis Sistrunk, that want to get back and be mentors to the young generation. And especially at the youth level, man. I just being around Little League baseball games and stuff like that, there is a lot of instruction, a lot of voices in these little leagues that I don't know should be having a voice in helping get our kids to the next level. Because in my opinion, you're not making an all-star. You're not making a Major League Baseball player at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. You know what you're doing?
What?
You are creating a kid that's going to end up hating the sport. You're making a kid that is not enjoying it at that age, DJ. Same thing when you were that age, me. You got to learn to love the game. Because if you learn to love the game at that age, when you get older and you got to do all those hard workouts, you got to put time and effort in your craft, that's not work. That's doing something you love to do.
Yeah.
But if you don't love the game and you're getting coached hard and these Little League coaches are going a little bit over the line, then guess what? You're teaching kids not to love the game, and that is what it's all about. Not winning championships, getting kids to learn to love the sport, so when they get older, they'll put the time and effort in to be great at it.
Richard, when you were playing Little League ball, I mean, obviously, you know, again, some people have great experiences, some people have terrible experiences. But what was the experiences as your coaches presented the game and coached the game to you?
Oh, I ran a lot of laps.
You must have talked back, didn't you? Why'd you run?
Well, first of all, I ran cross country in high school, so I didn't mind the laps. Yeah, if I dropped like a fly ball or if I, missed a ground ball, late to practice,
Holdridge, take off. Wait. Late to practice? You were late to practice?
I have been late to practice before. Yeah, even though now it's changed. Now I'm usually on time and punctual because the military really taught me that discipline. I was just a different kid back then, before I even joined the military. But I took it seriously. I knew that the mistakes that I made, I worked on my craft. I tried to make sure, my dad was like my assistant coach. He always told me when I'm in the batter's box to put your elbow up when you're swinging. Once you put your elbow down, you're hitting pop flies. You're hitting ground balls. You want to hit line drives. And I was just hitting the ball like hard or batting practice. But, once I got to the game, it was tough. But, I had a very unique experience, and that's probably why I didn't play high school ball. But I tell you what, one thing that I have observed being a soccer dad is some of these soccer parents are yelling and screaming on the sideline. Yeah, they're cheering for their kid, but sometimes they're very vocal and like, hey, go to this position, move around. And I get it. I understand because we want what's best for our kids. We want our kids to be successful. But yeah, I can understand why some of these Little League parents or soccer parents could take it too far.
I just crack up because again, a lot of the times, when you're listening at the games and whether it's Little League games or high school games or whatever they are, you hear fans in the stands there, they're shouting and yelling and cursing, whether they're coaching, talking to the coach or the opposing team or players. And, a lot of those, those folks, those guys in particular hadn't put on a jock strap. They know how to do it. They know how to tell you to do it. They know how to yell and tell the umpire how wrong he was, or for the coach that, you made a crazy mistake. But then, it's amazing how we can be armchair quarterbacks. So you can be an armchair quarterback at home in front of a television as well as in the stadium. But you know what? That's what being a fan is all about. You pay your money, you get your ticket, and, you get to say what you got to say. But sometimes, you go a little bit overboard. Thrift, got to ask you this question, obviously, because there's some people in your life that have been amazing. Your granddad is an amazing guy, and your mom and dad loved you, and you came up great. But, there's some people that basically would have said that, he's not going to be about nothing. He's late. He's all the time. He doesn't care. But you know what? Look at you now.
Yeah, those guys, that was extra motivation, man. I never really I would listen to it, and it would piss me off, and it wouldn't make me want to quit or fight. It'd make me just want to work harder. And that's where I try to – it is okay to have controlled aggression, meaning you use that anger and frustration in a productive way. There, I think you have to have that in sports. We call it that dog, DJ. We talk about it all the time on here. If you do not have it, it's really hard to be successful at sports, man, because the great ones have the dog in them and you will be eaten alive. That is just how it is. And, that's not for everyone. Not everyone has that aggression, that dog in them. And it's okay if you're not that type of player, that's not what you want to do. But in my opinion, if you want to be great at it, stuff like that, using motivation to fuel that fire, to have that burning desire to be great, have that dog to want to take someone's lunch money, embarrass them in front of everybody else. I love that, man. I love it to this day at 32 years old. Some people don't have that, man. And I see it all the time in sports. And, you can really tell as people get older how they were coached. Did they play a sport? How you can talk to them, the camaraderie. Can you joke around with them? Have they been in a locker room where everybody's janking on everyone?
Yeah.
You can find all that out easily when you just have conversations.
I love that word you just used, jank. I hadn't heard that in a long time.
Come on,
jank,
that's all we did.
Yep. I mean, just cracking on guys. I mean, it's, you know what? But it makes you have tough skin. And again, it groomed you for all of your haters that you along the way. Because again, ain't nothing like the guys that grew up with you in the neighborhood, janking on you, talking about you, and again, it's all in fun back then. But now, again, out in the real world, it's toxic. It's just something that you want to stay away from. You see it, you coming. And again, the good thing about growing older and maturing, Richard and Thrift, is that the older you get, the more you understand people. And they're just something. It's a meme. Let's just get it. Just to say it like it is. There's some mean people out here.
Yeah.
There's some people out here that are not happy, for you, or they're not happy for themselves. They're not happy how their life is going. So they want to make life miserable for everybody that comes in contact with you. Misery loves company. But one thing about growing older and getting much more mature, and as you grow in this world, in this thing called life, is that you understand, you could see that stuff now a mile away, as opposed to walking right in the middle of it when you were younger and immature and didn't realize that, these guys don't mean you any good. They don't care about you. And again, now you can stay away from it, because again, peace is the most important thing now. And again, you guys still have a lot of your career ahead of you, and I'm on the tail end of mine. But those are things that you have to learn. Thrift, nobody could tell you that. Mom and dad couldn't tell you. Your granddaddy couldn't tell you. DJ couldn't tell you. You're experiencing things each and every day, each and every month, each and every year. And no matter how much we tell you or warn you, no matter what you read and whatever books that you read to motivate you, but these are real life experiences, Richard, and I don't know any other way to say it.
Yeah, I don't know any other way. Exactly. You got to experience stuff like this to really understand, and then you got to put yourself in situations that you have to make tough decisions sometimes, DJ. And I think that exactly what you're talking about. I've been able to learn people through relationships, through talking, and I always translate it back to sports, because that's one of the biggest things that's always been in my life. That I had to explain too, like, it's sports. There are athletic people out there that may never even played a sport that may be more athletic than me. Sports also a skill that you have to learn how to do. I had to explain that to Natalie last night, because she was like, Thrift, you're not the most athletic person in the world. I said, I don't have to be super athletic to be able to catch a baseball, throw a football. That's a skill set. Okay. There are probably more people out there that can jump higher than me. Doesn't mean they can throw a football better than I can, because that's something you have to learn how to do. I'm sorry I had to go on that tangent, DJ.
No, that's
but
good.
I want everyone to understand
that's good.
about athleticism and learning how to play a sport. And that goes translate with kids nowadays. They can be great athletes, but unless you put time and effort into your craft, you're just going to be a good athlete instead of a great baseball player or phenomenal football player or an all-star basketball player.
You know what I know? I know that when people listen to the Sports Vision morning show, they listen for the sports, and they listen for stats, and they listen for who won the game, and the big story, whatever. But also, the life lessons that we're able to share, from our experiences. And I think those are the things that separate us more so than anybody when you talk about these sports talk shows. And again, you know what? You can get all of that other stuff anywhere. But, again, the only live and local show in East Alabama, West Central Georgia, where we not only talk about sports. And Thrift, I say it, we've been saying it for years. Sports Visions is like gumbo. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a lot of sports. And I mean, whether it sounds kind of ear-jerking or not, the bottom line, though, Richard, is that we tell our story. We talk about life. We talk about, and again, that's why, again, part of what we're trying to do is engage with the folks out there that if they have something on their mind or if they had a situation that they went through, we're human. We want to hear that because there's other people that are listening. Don't think that you had the only problem in the universe. You don't think that there's 100,000 other people that might be right here in this region that might, hear this or might, and understand how you deal with it. And then some other people might not have dealt with it that way, but it's all about choice. It's all about selection. And again, for the folks that want to listen, they're going to listen.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I do think that it's all about the opportunities that are given to you. You got to take advantage. One of the lessons that I've learned in high school when I realized that I was not going to be a professional baseball player, I still love sports. So I wrote for the high school newspaper, writing sports, taking pictures. And then that translated into college, getting on the radio and doing play-by-play for the basketball team, the baseball team, and also writing about sports. I wanted to be a sports writer and a sports broadcaster. And I had to get some hard life lessons, getting rejected by radio stations at an early age, right out of college. Did work for a minor league baseball team. I had an opportunity, and I could have stayed on, and I could have been full-time there. But, family situation, had to move away. And then, of course, joined the military, deployed a couple of times. But sometimes when you're given opportunities, taking advantage of it and just continue grinding, because I know that it's a lot of work, but it's rewarding because we get to talk about sports, and that's what I love doing. And I just appreciate the opportunity, and I just love talking sports, and it's been really a great ride.
Good deal. Good deal. Big shout outs to Dr. Killer Sylvester Elkins out there, my buddy down. He's a former Georgia Bulldog as well. Gerald Beargood is Las Vegas. He said that's where WrestleMania is.
Yep.
And of course, your mom, Jennifer Barringer, boy, I love her. She's loyal. She is loyal and faithful. She's on every morning.
You're going to be tuning in.
Listen to her baby boy.
Yep.
The Thrifter. Absolutely. Hey, let's go ahead and take another break. You're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Vision 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
That you got is overdue. You better do what you supposed to do. I'm like, why I gotta be out there, but still I can't.
You are listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
Good morning. I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. A Lee County jury is hearing testimony in the trial of Jamario Mitchell, accused of killing his girlfriend's toddler, Ivy Baker. Prosecutors say the 2-year-old died from multiple injuries, including a skull fracture. Mitchell allegedly delayed calling 911, instead suggesting home remedies. His defense attorneys denies any direct evidence linking him to her death. There are new details on Monday's 10th Street shooting. Roy Foster is charged with aggravated assault after allegedly shooting a person in the chest. The victim was taken to Piedmont Columbus Regional. Foster, also facing a gun charge, is in the Muskogee County Jail and appears in court this afternoon. The Georgia Senate has passed a bill banning kindergarten through 8th grade students from using phones or personal devices during school hours. With a 54-2 vote, it now heads to Governor Brian Kemp's desk. Exceptions are made for medical or intellectual disability needs. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
Good Wednesday morning. We are starting off the day chilly under some clear skies, and those readings are near 50, but we're going to be tracking plenty of sunshine again today, along with some warm temperatures with those highs near 80. Breezy at times with gusts reaching 20 miles per hour throughout the afternoon and early evening. Tonight, mostly clear and chilly with those lows falling near 50 again. Tracking a warm Thursday and Friday with these readings climbing in the low 80s. We are still tracking rain chances over the weekend.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases.
Protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive so you can stop worrying about them and invent new things to worry about, like snakes in your bedroom. Sure, that sounds incredibly irrational, but now that we've mentioned it, you are a little worried. The odds of one snake, let alone snakes plural, are so slim. But you might want to check. Oh, you're not near your bedroom. Guess you'll just have to sit there and worry about it. So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-929-1313. 800-929-1313. Again, that's 800-929-1313.
Attorney advertising. Local counsel, Alexander Shanaira trial attorneys. Paid after dramatization. Past results do not guarantee future results in each case. You gotta be a believer. You can't have no doubt in your head. You gotta believe that if you call Top Dog, that dog's gonna go out and bite somebody and bring you back some money. You ever play fetch with a dog? You ever make a dog go fetch? You ever see a dog come back with money? I have. My friend was telling me he got into an accident. He ain't called Top Dog, he called somebody else. Settlement check was $20,000. The attorney wanted $15,000 of it. Left with $5,000. Like, that's crazy. How that work? That's crazy. It's like he got into the accident. He got more than you. That's crazy. Call Top Dog, you get into an accident. Big or small, you make the call. Life or death, you make the call. Top Dog Law.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd, 12 to 3 on Sportsvisions 92.1. Now back to the Sportsvisions morning show. Here's Carver Tigers legend DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sportsvisions morning show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer, and Richard Holdridge. Great Wednesday morning. Happy hump day. Man, I tell you, we had some exciting interview this morning with Oliver Davis, Coach OD. He, of course, talking about and walking us through his illustrious career as a player, as a kid, as an athlete. And for a lot of the folks that didn't know, Mount Olive High School down in Fort Mitchell, Alabama. He was the pride and joy of Fort Mitchell, and was able to come from humble beginnings. He said he went from chasing pigs to coaching kids. I love that. Put that on a T-shirt there.
Yeah, exactly. I would wear it right now.
But Richard, as you sit back and you think about a guy that comes from humble beginning, or anybody that comes from humble beginnings, and to rise to the heights of course, that he has been, again, through high school and college and professional ranks, to transition out of the professional sport, out of NFL football, to go on to become an athletic director, a coach, and now, again, serving the kids in the community and being in a position that still he's serving. He's a servant leader, as I like to say.
Yeah, and when you have somebody that came from humble beginnings, that had a pretty good NFL career, and he's been to the mountaintop, up to the Super Bowl, and then coming back and giving back to the community. And I love seeing these former athletes that are from this area that come back to the area and live here, and you see them around town. And I know that they share stories, but the kids look up to them, and it's great to see Coach Davis just giving back to the community, and then all the things that he has accomplished, and then just being that role model to that next generation of kids, and passing on that knowledge as well.
I love the fact that, you have lifelong relationships in sports. One of the many things that when we talk about, the different things that the game of sports will teach you. In the case with Oliver Davis, he talked about he and Monk playing at Tennessee State. Mm-hmm. He and Otis Sistrunk playing in the National Football League against each other. I mean, those are lifelong relationships, and that forms a brotherhood. And again, there's a few other elements that tie into that, because again, people are people. But the fact of the matter is that these guys both, and I can tell you this, they both understand and respect the game. They know the sacrifices that had to have been made to play the game. And, and again, you can choose to do whatever you like, but, I'll just tell you right now, college football is hard. Making a professional football team is hard. It is hard. And you respect, and you have a different kind of level of respect to the mutual folks or the like folks that have done and experienced the same thing that you have. I mean, obviously with you, Richard, military, that's hard. Basic training is hard. Everybody can't do it. And everybody can't take the instructions that they're giving in a military life. Three of you as an athlete, playing ball and practicing basketball and those line drills, that's hard. A coach yelling at you on the bench after you gave your best effort, but you just got beat, that's hard to take. Yeah. But, again, guys, that's life. That's what molds us into the individuals that we are. Those of us that can persevere, and those of us can figure it out, those are the ones that actually you end up making the better choices in life. Those of us who can't deal with those kinds of things, can't take coaching, that can't take people giving you constructive criticism, those are the people that struggle. And, again, less for better words, struggle. You struggle because, adversity, it teaches you how to deal with certain aspects of your life. And you know what? In sports, whether you're a kid growing up, for fun and games, it eventually gets competitive. It eventually turns into competition. And then that's where it's me against you. And that's what I loved about football, because it's either hit or be hit. And, when you get, you're not going to win all the battles. You got to learn how to brush yourself off. Just like Thrift, you come down and get dunked on. You know what? What are you going to do? You're going to go back and try to, take the next shot on this guy, or you're going to, tuck your tail and go to the bench.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely going to not tuck my tail and go to the bench. I promise you that. And if anything, when someone tried to dunk on me, I would foul them before they get up to try to dunk. And if they did dunk on me, just know I'm going to get my get back too on the way back. That was how I am. But I didn't back down. And also, too, don't take yourself too seriously, man. I think that people that take themselves a little too seriously also will struggle at life. You can't. If you take yourself that seriously, you are becoming an open target for everyone else to come after you, say things to you. You got to learn to let things flow, roll off your shoulder. You got to learn how to go back and forth and be funny. I mean, show a little personality out there, man. If you take yourself too seriously, especially in sports in which you're going to make mistakes majority of the time, good luck trying to be successful if you can't learn how to take coaching, DJ.
Absolutely. 706-324-1420 is the number to call if you want to jump on or if you want to engage. But, Richard, again, as we go back to reeling it in, we talk about the games that are on slate for today and the next few days, the baseball games and any other sport that you need to report on.
All right. Well, Georgia-Alabama Sports Live is just hitting the ground running once again this week. Today, we've got Shaw at Brookstone. The first pitch is going to be at 4:30. That will be on Georgia-Alabama Sports Live. On Thursday, we've got Columbus in Brookstone, and we also have a special edition. We've added this one to the schedule, Stars Mill and Northside. The flex scheduling in the NFL? Well, we've got flex scheduling on Georgia-Alabama Sports Live. We want to make sure to get this mega game between the defending champions of Stars Mill. Northside ended up taking game one up in Fayetteville. This is going to be at Northside. We can't wait for that. And we also have Strong Rock and Pacelli soccer. Friday, we've got a doubleheader as we've got Westfield School taking on Pacelli at Diamond Field. Dave Plata will be on the call. And then we also have the game 3 of Harris County Central Carrollton. And who knows what other games that we'll have on the schedule. By the way, last night we had Harris County defeat Central Carrollton in a walk-off fashion. Rick Beach was on the call. He did an outstanding job. Noah Shelton was on the call for Strong Rock Calvary. Calvary ends up winning that game 12-4. And I know Thrift and I were on the call for Columbus Hardaway. Thrift came in for a couple innings. It really helped me out because, Tuesdays is just my crazy day because I got my girls got soccer practice, a game, gymnastics. It was the perfect storm, but Thrift came in, helped out, called a couple innings. I had to go take my my youngest actually to gymnastics, and then I came back to finish up the game. Columbus wins 11-10 after taking a 10-1 lead. Hardaway bounces all the way back and almost won that game. They had the bases loaded at the bottom of the 7th inning. What a great game.
Good deal. Good deal. Guys, as you talk about baseball, high school baseball, and particularly as you guys have boots on the ground in all the stadiums all around the region, who are some of the better hitters? Who are some of the long dong hitters? Who are the best pitchers? Who are the best fielders? I mean, as you think about it, anybody stands out in your mind?
Well, I got a list of the top home run hitters. You got to start with Mason McCrane over at Central, Sam Brown. At Russell County, you got Colton Armstrong. He's got 5 home runs. Shaw, Kingsley Long, Cade Davis for Jordan. As far as the pitchers, Mason McCrane, Tyler Sykes. That's a pretty good 1-2 combo for Glenwood. For Brookstone, Chai-Nu Kim, who's been phenomenal. And I'm trying to think if there's any other. Michael Nodelman for Columbus. I know there's a lot more out there, but as we try to reach out to these coaches to try to get the stats, we want to try to compile like the top hitters and the top pitchers. And by the way, you got a player like Christian Ellaby who's got 33 stolen bases for Hardaway.
33?
33. Actually, they got 6 guys with 20 or more stolen bases on that Hardaway.
I mean, they'll run.
I guarantee you those kids play multiple sports. If they're stealing bases like that, that's showing
unreal.
Speed and the quickness, explosive. Then, of course, Thrift, again, one thing to have stats, but it's another thing that, when you're talking about boots on the ground, eyeballs on the kids. I mean, again, whether stats or no stats, who are some of the better players that you have witnessed this year?
A lot of them that Richard talked about, McCrane, who I think is the best player in this area, and Glenwood, who is the best team in this area. He's been great. Tommy Irving, a pitcher from Calvary. He's their number one. He's been great. Cam Houston, their leading hitter and their shortstop leader for Calvary, has been sensational. Mr. Velo over at Pacelli, a young up-and-coming talent that is going to be, by the time he's a senior, a guy that everyone is going to be reckoning with here in the near future. So a lot of great talent in our area, man. And Bobby Gary, saw him on the mound yesterday for Hardaway, dual sport athlete, quarterback of the football team. So I can't wait to see the rest of baseball season play out. Right now, Harris County, Northside, Brookstone, Glenwood, and Central, those 5 are in kind of a class of their own, followed by Calvary, and then Pacelli, Columbus, Hardaway, Shaw, Jordan. They're all in a class of their own. So those top 5 teams, man, and Glenwood beat 4 of them already. Shows you how loaded this area is in baseball.
Let's take a few minutes here to talk about, again, because, I saw Glenwood play Columbus High School, and I saw them, beat them pretty good over at Columbus High School's field there. But Tim Fanning, let's talk about him for a minute. What makes him so special? Because, again, Tim, when you talk about Thrift, he has beaten everybody around here. And, again, this is a little private school over in Phoenix City that not supposed to be beating up on these big boys like this. But you know what? Tim Fanning says, hey, you guys better recognize.
Developer talent has sent over 100 kids to the next level. Mini D1, 10-time state champion. You don't just build that stuff like that doesn't happen just to happen. I don't care what league you're in. You have to have some type of foundation and a culture and a place where people want to go and play for. And that is what Coach Fanning's got. That's why he attracts the McCranes and the Sykes and the Carson Bowers, and the Lawson Humphreys, and the Nathan Kilcreases. I'm just naming some guys that, I've known to go into play at the next level, at the D1 level. That is because of the culture that Coach Fanning has set in place over there at Glenwood. And this year they just got a 1-2 punch that no one can match. And Sykes and McCrane, when it comes to pitching, with Hudson Campbell being a really good third, and then Nick Torres. And then they got hitting, I think, the best lineup 1 through 9, no weak spots. Nope. And they're showing why they're number 2, number 6 overall in the state. So they're higher than Central. They're ranked number 6 in the entire state, all classifications. Problem is, though, and you would think, well, if they're number 6 and there's 7 classifications, that means they're number 1, right, in 3A. Unfortunately not. That would be Prattville Christian, who was a former AISA foe that I played back when I was in high school. They're actually ranked number 1. So that looks like a collision match, Glenwood and PCA. But Glenwood Gators, they're the top dog right now in our area, and that is credit to Coach Fanning.
Yeah, and we've got some teams that are going to compete for a championship. Glenwood You look at the last 2 years winning 2 AISA championships, and then Coach Fanning, what he's done, he's stacked the schedule. He wants to play the best teams in this area. It's really showcasing Glenwood. We've already seen them beat Central. We've already seen them beat Northside, Harris County, Columbus, Smith Station. I think that really just speaks volumes of what Coach Fanning's trying to build. But Glenwood has already set the foundation. Now they're just playing the teams that they weren't allowed to play when they were in the AISA. As far as Brookstone, the defending GIAA champions, well, they're kind of picking up where they left off. I think now Calvary Christian is showing after impressive wins over Westfield School and Strong Rock. There's a collision course in a couple of weeks between Brookstone and Calvary. And then you can't forget about Pacelli, first-year coach Case Rasmus, doing a great job. You got players like you mentioned, Jacob Vilos, Connor Zitrauer, who has 3 home runs on the season, another one of the top home run hitters that I forget to mention in the earlier segment. And then if you look at the public schools, I mean, the job that Northside and Harris County is doing, and they play each other in a couple of weeks. You can't forget about Smith Station. They had a really good week last week, winning 4 games. They beat Columbus. They beat Shaw. They beat Dothan. And they also beat Russell County. And then as far as the Muskogee County schools, it looks like it's going to be a 4-team race for the playoffs with Columbus, Shaw, Jordan, and Hardaway.
When you talk about Hardaway, give me an update, because, again, I know that they when I saw him play Shaw over at Hardaway about a week ago, a little bit more than a week ago, I saw more players in their dugout, which meant, it was a great thing because, it could have been their freshman team and their junior varsity team. But the fact that they had so many participants, so many teammates on the bench, I know baseball programs, have there's some struggle. Like in schools like Carver, they have the numbers game, but certainly at Hardaway, how have they been playing?
Well, right now they are 12-5. They are currently in 4th place in the region, so they're going to make the playoffs. They made the playoffs last year. They're led by their head coach, Coach Eric Anthony.
Yeah.
And they have just a scrappy team. They have athletes. We talked about having 6 guys on their team that have over 20 stolen bases. They tend to play small ball. When they get on base, they'll steal bases. That's how they manufacture runs. They are a type of team that does not quit. They were down big against Shaw, and they almost came back and won that game. They were down big against Columbus, and they almost came back and won the game. I think that Hardaway is in good position. They're actually most impressive win. They defeated Jordan 4-3. They actually played Jordan again this Friday. I think that what Coach Anthony has done, he's really built a foundation. I mean, they've had former Carver players like Christian Ellaby, Keyshawn Davis. They both played at Carver, and they're now at Hardaway. But I tell you what, Hardaway, as you've seen, that they've had the championship accolades in the 90s with legendary Coach Tracy Powell getting to the state championship in 97 and 98. But I think what Coach Anthony is building is a very good foundation, and Hardaway's in good shape. And they got passionate fans. I mean, that was the second time that we were there at Hardaway. They just have a really good fan base, and I just appreciate what Coach Anthony has done there.
I know that traditionally Jordan has always had a good baseball team. How are they doing this year, Thrift?
They're doing a great job. Coach Lane's team is actually tied for first with Columbus High at 8-1. I love seeing stories like this with teams in schools that don't have as many resources as others doing great things. And right now they are the number 2 seed. Got a win over Carver last night, and actually they're number 1 seed. They're tied with Columbus High, and they'll have another matchup coming up here later on this month, in the month of April. So we can't wait to be able to get that and see how it's going to go, man.
Tell you what, a program that is near and dear to my heart, other than, of course, the fact that I played at Carver High School. But Kendrick had some tremendous baseball teams back in my era, and I know they got a new facility over there. What's the latest on their program?
Well, Kendrick is just trying to build a foundation. I know we called several Kendrick games last year on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. They got a new head baseball coach taking over for a longtime baseball coach, Michael Peak. It's really just buying into the program. I think that the athletic director, Coach Andre Dye, has done a great job just selling the Kendrick program. I know I had him on the broadcast with me last year. Kendrick is just learning to just play the game and trying to get more players involved, because they do have multi-sport athletes. You have a player like Tavon Leonard, who plays for Coach Dye on the basketball team. He actually is their leading hitter. He's leading the team in stolen bases. And that's another thing. Kendrick's got athletes. They know how to manufacture runs. but they are hurting with the loss of Tristan Holzendorf, who was he had just astonishing numbers last year, batted over 600. He had a couple of home runs, led the team in RBIs, but really it's just buying into that program. And same with Spencer. By the way, Spencer got a big win over Sumter County. They got 3 wins in the region right now.
All right.
They're trying to maybe get some upsets. They could possibly make a playoff run. Remember, it's the top 4 teams in the region, though.
Who's coaching the Green Waves?
So it was Coach Brandon Pickett, but they do have a new coach as well. And unfortunately, we did not have a chance to talk to him during Baseball Media Day. But yeah, once I get that information, well, we'll get it out there for the listeners.
And if I can't leave out the Northside Patriots, they have a pretty decent team, huh?
Tracy Powell's team just got a big win over Sars Mill, and like I said, between them and Harris County, man, they were just 16-4 this year, undefeated in region play, and they got a collision match coming up in 2 weeks. So cannot wait to see that, man, and showing you how great baseball is in this area.
Absolutely. And I know I got Steve Smith up at Calvary. You know, he has a ton of state championships. How's the season faring well for him this year?
Well, they 3-1 in the region. They are behind Brookstone, 7-5 overall. Played a tough schedule. Played teams like Glenwood and Northside, Lakeside, Central. Yes. They'll be fine, and they'll be right there in the thick of things when the playoff run comes around. And right now, they got a big win last night over Strong Rock to go to 3-1 in the region.
I know over on the land, they had to make a transition. They got a new baseball coach over there. How's that program?
Coach Rasmus just got a young team. They're 7-9 now. I think they made the playoffs, but this team was not expected to make deep runs. They've gotten some decent wins over the year, including a win over Columbus High, but we'll see what happens with Pacelli as the rest of the year plays on.
I know Rick Beach is not here, but give us a report on the county.
Well, Harris County, they cracked the top 10. They are one of the top teams in the state. And we kind of expected this, especially with those Little League teams from 3 years ago making those deep runs in the Southeast Regional. Coach Dimitri's got a pitcher, Caden Dimitri, who's only a freshman. He's making a big impact. And I know that Harris County, they got a huge win, walk-off fashion, against Central Carrollton, who is undefeated, and they got 2 more games, and they got a tough schedule. They got to play Northside in a couple weeks. They play Stars Mill, and I think that Harris County, people have been taking notice, and that's usually the trend. Anytime your Little League team does extremely well and make a deep run and almost get to the Little League World Series, just add 4 years from that, and you know that high school team is going to be a state championship contender. I mean, you look at what Northern did in 2006. Well, Coach Bobby Howard, he just happened to have some of those Northern Little League players, and he rattled off 3 straight state championships.
All right, 3F, let's go ahead and take a break. Hey, coming up on the other side is, of course, fabulous Tony Reese from WTVM, as well as, of course, Stephen M. Smith. He's going to give us everything, all things Alabama, and that'll be on the other side. But you're listening to Facebook Live, or at least you're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Fine, so fine, oh, wow. Oh, girl, I'm gonna show you when you're mine, oh, mine, treasure.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for waking up with the Sports Visions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Catch me at 9 a.m. every weekday morning, right here on Sports Visions 92.1.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases. Find all of your favorite Ford vehicles at Rivertown Ford in Columbus. SUVs to fit the whole family? Check. Performance muscle cars to hit the open road? Check. Tough trucks, compact crossovers, hybrids, and EVs of all shapes and sizes? Check, check, and check. With hundreds of new and used vehicles in stock, our team is dedicated to getting you behind the wheel of the Ford of your dreams. Whether you're leasing or purchasing your next Ford, visit us in person at our Columbus showroom, located at 1680 Whittlesey Road, for our signature personalized service. Or shop our extensive selection of vehicles online anytime at rivertownford.com. And remember, you'll never pay retail at Rivertown Ford.
I love playing sports, especially for my school. And that's because school sports are special. It's where it's safe to fail. It's where we're taught resilience, where our fear becomes confidence. It's where we learn to get back up after every fall. School sports are where 7.8 million students go from I can't to I can.
This message presented by the AHSAA and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-867-7132. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-867-7132. 800-867-7132. 800-867-7132.
You're home for the Dan Patrick Show, 9 to 12 on Sportsvisions 92.1. Now back to the Sportsvisions Morning Show. Here's former Green Bay Packer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sportsvisions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer. Big shout out to Richard Holdridge, who had to get on with the rest of his day. He's got daddy duties, and of course, his kids are out for spring break.
Yeah, spring break.
Yeah.
They still got to be watching them all week long. He took the week off to do the daddy duties.
Absolutely. I tell you what, that's got to be a joy, and he mentions it all the time, how much he loves his two girls. And again, that's a great part about being in sports broadcasting, is that you get to spend time. When you do get to spend time with your family, you can appreciate it, because again, it's so time consuming through. If you guys call a lot of games and again, multiple sports. So again, your time is very limited.
Yeah, very limited. But anytime I do have, I'm trying to make sure I spend it with the family, the loved ones, and that's what you have to do, DJ.
Absolutely. Well, Miss, of course, your mother has been a very, very loyal listener in the mornings, and I know. Does she actually listen to the entire show, or she just pops in?
Pops in and when she can. She's got to be at work too, so she pops in when she can. But in the car ride, getting ready, she's always tuning in.
Good morning to Miss Candy. Obviously, she
Candy
came on yesterday to talk about all the wonderful things that we had to do down in Tampa Bay for my birthday, man, and she arranged everything. So, honey, I love you. Thank you so much, and good morning. I'm glad to see you're up, and already she's got her 5-mile run in, and actually walk, because her running is a little bit hard on the feet, but got her 5-mile walk in, and I think she's headed to the gym.
Well, thank you, Aunt Candy, for doing that. And I'll be going to get my run in later on today too.
Absolutely. Now, so you and of course your lovely significant other, you guys were doing long marathons at one point.
Yeah, we haven't been able to now with the move and then everything with Georgia Alabama Sports Live this year to get back into it, but we are now for the spring. As things are starting to slow down a little bit for us, and now the weather's starting to pick up where it's actually enjoyable to go outside, except for the pollen. But it was 72 breezy yesterday. It was a great time to go out there and get a good run in.
I know you are in your passion and doing what you do, but how things going out at the school?
The Campus Academy is going great, man. This is year number 2 in the new building, year number 6 overall, and it's been 6 incredible
6 years. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
What Natalie's grown at the Campus Academy. If you're looking for a private school near you, give the Campus Academy a try. 2236 Warm Springs Road. Go check out the campus. See what I promise you, we are going to meet your child's needs go and see what it's about, man. It's at campusacademy.com.
You guys had a nice sports program as well. I know, are they still playing?
Yeah, so we still got sports over there too. So make sure to go and check it out. And you can see it on the website. Set up a tour today to go be a part of the Campus Academy.
All right. 706-324-1420 is the number to call. 706-324-1420 is the number to call. If I think we're going to eventually have Brave tickets, and we're going to have, of course, Clingstones tickets to give away to, of course, the Sports Visions Nation for those who get to wake up with us on weekday mornings at 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. And, looking forward to all of those promotions and all of those wonderful gifts that we're going to be having. And, of course, making some kids and some parents, some families making their day by, of course, the prize package that we are going to be starting to give away here real soon.
Yeah, exactly. So make sure to tune in and see how you can win some of these awesome tickets to the Braves and the Clingstones.
Thrift, I want to go back and talk a little bit more about Oliver Davis, Coach Oliver Davis, OD, affectionately known to many here in the community, of his friends and family. But, the thing that was most impressive to me is that his humble spirit.
Yes.
I mean, he is just, this guy is confident. And most athletes who have excelled at a high level do have a little bit more confidence than most. And he certainly has it in a humble spirit in that as well. But I'm telling you, you have no idea. He rattled off. Let me just say this. He was an outstanding player for Mount Olive here down in Fort Mitchell. Of course, he went on to Tennessee State, played for some of the great Tennessee State football teams in Nashville, and one of the great historically HBCUs. Got drafted out of an HBCU when, of course, obviously the National Football League understood and valued the talent of HBCU athletes, but they drafted him in the 4th round. I believe it was the Cincinnati Bengals that took him. And, of course, Coach Forrest Gregg was his head coach. And we have a mutual interest there because Coach Forrest Gregg was my head coach in Green Bay when I got drafted back in 1984. But Coach Davis was able to go on and have an outstanding career. Injuries basically curtailed his career in the NFL, but he went on and left. Of course, with Coach Forrest Gregg went to Cincinnati. Actually, he left Cleveland, went to Cincinnati, or left Cincinnati and went to Cleveland. And of course, he called up, of course, OD to go over and come over and join the team there, and had a nice run there. But again, like I said, you could be on the golf course, you could be in the mall, you could be in a restaurant, you could be in a cigar lounge, and this guy is sitting there with all of this great sports, accolades under his name, and you would never know it unless you asked him.
Yeah, exactly. Very humble guy, and I enjoyed being able to get his story and understanding where he came from and getting to know that relationship with him and Monk and Otis. And it was a great interview. If you missed it, you can listen to on the Sports Visions radio app, Sports Visions Facebook page, YouTube channel, and of course, Sports Visions morning show on Apple and Spotify. Immediately following the show, you can get it commercial free on those platforms.
Elaborating just a little bit more on Coach Davis, the fact of the matter is that even after he's retired and had a successful career, still giving back. Of course, he, along with his buddies, Otis Sistrunk and Monk Johnson, these guys, you might see them frying fish and raising money, selling fish plates, or they might be, of course, I know a couple of years back, they were responsible for taking a group of kids up to the Atlanta for the Super Bowl. And they were able to do that. I mean, again, that these are things that's fly under the radar, but if I find out about it, I'm going to let you know, because I just, it means that much to me. And I think it means that much more to the kids in this community. All right, we're going to go take a break. Hey, coming up in just a little bit, Tony Reese from WTVM. We'll check in with Tony, as well as Stephen M. Smith. You're watching Facebook Live and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
Now, baby, be mine. I'm not always there when you call, but I'm always on time. And I gave you my all.
If it's local, it's on the Sports Visions Morning Show with former Georgia Bulldog DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Everything is expensive right now. Gas, food, you name it. You're spending more, you are making the same or less money. So what do? You rack up credit card debt. That's what you do. It's not your fault. It's the economy.
And guess what? If you rack up too much credit card debt like some of us, you can't pay your bills. Then the credit card companies, as nice as they are, start hounding you for money. Then you start your downward spiral. A smart thing for you to do is to call the Zero Debt. They can help you consolidate all your credit card bills into one affordable payment. Millions of people have done it. It works to make you debt-free. Make this free call right now. It costs you nothing to learn more.
800-628-5675. 800-628-5675. 800-628-5675. That's 800-628-5675.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases.
I love playing sports, especially for my school. And that's because school sports are special. It's where it's safe to fail. It's where we're taught resilience, where our fear becomes confidence. It's where we learn to get back up after every fall. School sports are where 7.8 million students go from I can't to I can.
This message presented by the GHSA and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. The next time you're out to dinner with friends, you can order the shrimp cocktail for the table. And maybe you'll realize it only comes with 4 shrimp after you've already given away 3, but that one shrimp will be so good. And if you switch and save hundreds, you could get shrimp all the time. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for shrimp. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for waking up with the Sports Visions Morning Show. Let's get back to DJ and Thrift on Sports Visions 92.1.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer, and thanks a lot there, big guy. You know, we DP. We appreciate everything Dan Patrick and Colin Cowherd as well. They do for us, and again, working on Paul there. I got to catch up with Paul somewhere at one of our upcoming SEC meetings or whatever it is. Maybe he'll be in Atlanta for the NCAA tournament.
We got to get Paul on page, because when we have our weekly Zoom meetings with DP and Cowherd, not to have Paul show up in those things. Come on, man.
Yeah.
You're part of Sports Visions 92.1 FM. We got to see you there. Dan.
Absolutely. And just to think that Dan Patrick is the number one sports talk radio show in America. And, of course, Dan Patrick is 1, as well as Colin Cowherd is number 4.
Yeah.
And Paul Feinbaum is number 6.
And Sports Visions is right there in the top 50
right there,
too.
6.5, 7.
6.5. There we are. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. But glad to be here. Of course, it's Hump Day, Thrift. And again, we've made it to another halfway point here in the week. And again, man, I tell you, man, this year, 2025 is we're already in April, man. We're April. The first quarter of the year is pretty much over and done. And, for the most part, I don't know where the time is going, but it is going expeditiously.
I needed to slow down. That's what I needed to do. Jeez, man. I cannot believe it felt like we were just now getting into football season that turned into basketball that is now halfway through baseball season.
Hey, have I told you that we're going to be honoring over 50 of the top high school female athletes in East Alabama, West Central Georgia? That's right. In a couple of weeks there, and that'll be Thursday, April 17th, 11:30 down at the St. Luke Ministry Center will be the site of Sports Vision's 10th annual high school female athletes of the year and awards luncheon. And again, man, I'm telling you, we're talking about honoring the top female athletes from swimming and tennis and golf and track and field, flag football, softball, gymnastics, dancing, cheerleading, you name it. and they will be there. Of course, they're all been nominated by their respective, will be nominated by their respective athletic directors and, of course, principals and some of the other coaches that coach the sports. But, each school is responsible for nominating 2 individuals from their school to, of course, come down, grace the stage, and say hello to Thrift and myself, and we'll have a ball down there. Glad to have with us just a Hall of Famer. Miss Williams is going to be speaking. Tawana Williams. She's been inducted into 3 Hall of Fames, and she's a girls basketball player at Jordan High School back in the 80s. However, she's also been inducted most recently into the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame back in February of this year. She is also a member or have been inducted into the Jordan Sports Hall of Fame, as well as the Albany State Sports Hall of Fame. And again, Tree, affectionately known to all of her friends, she set the tone, man. She made it, helped make a difference with female basketball, girls basketball here in the Chattahoochee Valley. Again, 3 Hall of Fame she's been inducted into. She will be our guest speaker. Thrift, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, she was for a great interview. So if you want to go back a few weeks ago, you can listen to that on the Sports Visions radio app, Sports Visions Facebook page, also on the Sports Visions Apple and Spotify podcast, DJ. And can't wait to hear her again coming up in a few weeks at the luncheon.
Now, Thrift, we've made this comment many, many times before. We are very appreciative and very excited that we do have one of the premier football awards luncheons in the land, not just in East Alabama, West Central Georgia, but in the country. And we've been told that by a number of coaches, to include Kirby Smart and Nick Saban.
Yep.
But you know what? I get really excited about this Female Athlete of the Year awards, because these young ladies for so long had been overlooked. And again, for the most part, they still they deserve even more, as much credit, or at least given more exposure than. And again, thank you and Georgia Alabama Sports Live for what you guys do. And but having this award ceremony to honor these young ladies, it's been just a thrill. And to see them, with their hair done and their makeup on and their Sunday best, and they come out and graze the stage, and then when they show their appreciation. And you can hear it in their conversation. You can hear it in their voice, how appreciative they are of being recognized and to have the opportunity to have their day to grace the stage. Man, it's nothing like it.
It isn't, man. And I can't wait. I was glad to be a part of it the last couple of years, DJ, and looking forward to being to my 4th Females Awards luncheon.
Sweet 16 starts on tomorrow and Friday, but also Thrift, opening day for the Atlanta Braves in Major League Baseball. Man,
I'll be tuning in.
Yeah. Now, you talk about what a time. This is a great time, but I'm going to just start with the Sweet 16. Congratulations to all 7 of the SEC basketball teams who made it to the Sweet 16. Arkansas, Auburn, Alabama, Florida, Kentucky, Mississippi State, and Tennessee. Man, I tell you what, it is a thrill to know that 7 teams out of the 16 will be playing, of course, for all the marbles, or at least a chance to win all the marbles. But, when you talk about the games that are on tap, BYU versus Alabama, Maryland, and Florida. And we had, thanks to, of course, 247 Swamp, we had an opportunity to go down and talk to, again, a guy, Graham, yesterday from who's boots on the ground in Gainesville, but also Arizona, Duke, Arkansas versus Texas Tech, Ole Miss, and Michigan State, Kentucky versus Tennessee, Michigan versus Auburn, and Purdue versus Houston. Now, what game in particular is the most intriguing, other than the fact that I know Michigan's a big one for you, but what are the other 2 or 3 games that you have on a must-see list?
Duke, Arizona, throw that one up there for me. I really like Tennessee, Kentucky. I think that one's going to be very entertaining. I think those will be the top 2, in my opinion. Do not sleep on BYU, Alabama. BYU in their first Sweet 16 since Jimmer Fredette back in 2011, they can flat out shoot the basketball, and they look really good against Wisconsin. We know about Alabama. They can't play any defense, but they can score. They're the best scoring team in the entire country. I think this could be a 87 or 100-96 type ball game. So that could be maybe one of the more entertaining ones, and it could come down to the wire. But Tennessee, Kentucky, and Duke, Arizona should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Now, when you talk about awards and best basketball player in college basketball, and on the men's side or the boys' side of things, we'll call them men in college, obviously. Janai Broom has already won the SEC Player of the Year, and of course, he's also won the Sporting News Outstanding National Basketball Player of the Year. But he's up for the Naismith Award. Now, that's the most prestigious award. Would you say that is the most prestigious award in college basketball today?
Yes, it is. This is the number one award, DJ.
Well, apparently he is the front runner for that, but he's got some close company, man. It's amazing when you think about who he's going, who's we talk about Walter down at
Walter Clayton from Florida.
Yeah, Clayton down in Florida, and you talk about the kid over at Duke,
Cooper Flagg,
and the kid at Purdue.
Yes, and that Braden Smith. So that Braden Smith leads the nation assists. He's a point guard. Flagg putting up 18, and I think he leads a lot of categories for Duke, and same does Janai Broom, who puts up 18 and 10. I think Broom's going to get it, but would not be surprised if it goes to Cooper Flagg.
Broom is a walking double-double, Thrift, and many people have talked about him, and again, Cooper Flagg, and several of the kids that have been mentioned who also were part of the All-American team, to include Cooper Flagg from Duke, Janai Broom from Auburn, Braden Smith from Purdue, Mark Sears from Alabama, and from Florida, Walter Clayton. But do you think that Broom is the best player in America? Because again, let me pose the question this way through. Janai Broom obviously is getting a lot of the recognition from the awards, but is he the most talented player in college basketball?
The most talented player is definitely Cooper Flagg. That's why he's projected to go number one overall, and it's not even close. But that doesn't mean he's the best player and had the best season when it comes to who they play, wins, team success. I would definitely go Janai Broom this year. But again, Coop's been great, man. And Duke finish number one in the AP poll. They're 33-3 now. He did get hurt, but it was towards the end of the season. I would give it to Broom just because of what the SEC and the historicness of how great that conference was. He was the best player on the best team in the best conference, but we'll see how it plays out.
Now, Alabama's Mark Sears, he's on the first team Associated Press All-American team, and I know that his name is not mentioned, but I'm sure he's probably just a shade or two or vote or two from being in the top 5.
He is, man, and this guy is probably right there at number 5. They got 4 that are in there, and Mark Sears is an all SEC, All-American type player that has had a phenomenal career, putting up over 20 a game and just been sensational, man. So he's going to have to play great for Alabama to make a Final Four run.
Make a Final Four run indeed. But we had an opportunity to talk to Graham down with 247 Swamp and down in, of course, Gainesville yesterday. And, he gave us some insight. He gave us a lot of information, too much information, if you ask me. But again, it's best to get more information than you need, and need it not to have it, and have it not to need it. But the fact of the matter, what was your takeaways from talking to Graham?
A couple of things, that this Florida team used that as motivation, and that this team is well coached, and I learned that Florida could win the national title this year too. And that win over UConn, I'm telling you, it probably was the biggest win out of anyone had in that second round, to beat the defending back-to-back national champion, being down late in that game and having a comeback and win the way they did could be a mega confidence booster. And right now they're in a region that's got Maryland. They traveled their way into the Sweet 16, and then you got Arkansas and Texas Tech. Florida's the best out of that group and could be heading to San Antonio.
Graham Hall is the name.
Graham Hall, yep.
Dogs are actually 247 Swamp. And Swamp is obviously down in Gainesville. And definitely when you talk about the Florida Gators, you kind of mentioned the Swamp. But we were very appreciative yesterday of getting all of that great information from Graham Hall. But also I want to shout out Mary Sherman, man. We had an opportunity to have her on the show, to give her flowers. She's stepping down as a longtime, of course, director of the Columbus Events and Sports Council. And she's going to be going and work for the Georgia High School Association. But Mary has had a tremendous run, a plethora of awards that she has received over the years. And she's worked with a lot of volunteers, and she had that staff down there that she says is about 30 on the staff, but it seems like they did the work of 130. Those people really, really were able to get it done. A lot of, over $20 million of renovations in the South Commons stadiums in the area down there. But we're glad to have Mary on and wish her well.
Mary had a sensational career and leaving the Sports Council in a really good spot, and looking forward to her many successes at the next thing.
All right, Thrift, let's go ahead and take another break. And we let you know that you're watching Facebook Live and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Let's do this.
Sports Visions 92.1.
Good morning. I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. A Lee County jury is hearing testimony in the trial of Jamario Mitchell, accused of killing his girlfriend's toddler, Ivy Baker. Prosecutors say the 2-year-old died from multiple injuries, including a skull fracture. Mitchell allegedly delayed calling 911, instead suggesting home remedies. His defense attorneys denies any direct evidence linking him to her death. There are new details on Monday's 10th Street shooting. Roy Foster is charged with aggravated assault after allegedly shooting a person in the chest. The victim was taken to Piedmont Columbus Regional. Foster, also facing a gun charge, is in the Muskogee County Jail and appears in court this afternoon. The Georgia Senate has passed a bill banning kindergarten through 8th grade students from using phones or personal devices during school hours. With a 54-2 vote, it now heads to Governor Brian Kemp's desk. Exceptions are made for medical or intellectual disability needs. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
Good Wednesday morning. We are starting off the day chilly under some clear skies, and those readings are near 50, but we're going to be tracking plenty of sunshine again today, along with some warm temperatures with those highs near 80. Breezy at times with gusts reaching 20 miles per hour throughout the afternoon and early evening. Tonight, mostly clear and chilly with those lows falling near 50 again. Tracking a warm Thursday and Friday with these readings climbing in the low 80s. We are still tracking rain chances over the weekend.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Then here's a great idea. Donate your car and help veterans and their families. Yes, one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program and we'll come and remove your car for free. Fast, free towing, and 24-hour response. You can donate most cars, trucks, or SUVs in most conditions. The proceeds raised goes to help active military, veterans, and their families, and you get a tax deduction. All you need to do is make this free call. Get rid of that old car and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now and book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Donation Program now. Donate your car and help veterans and their families. Operators are standing by. Here's the number.
800-890-7021. 800-890-7021. 800-890-7021. That's 800-890-7021.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
Corey's Furniture Express, your express way to save.
If you need furniture, you need to shop Gory's Furniture Express. Why? Well, their showroom is full of the finest furniture that money can buy, and their discounts throughout the store during Gory's Madness of March sale. Plus, they have their basketball goals set up inside where you can shoot for up to an additional 15% off, and that's only at Gory's Furniture, Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases. Now, back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's Denver Broncos 1987 AFC champion DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Big shout out to, of course, our guest this morning, Oliver Davis, OD, affectionately known to all. Again, just a great opportunity to not only congratulate OD on being inducted into the Russell County School District's Hall of Fame, but also to talk about his illustrious career at Tennessee State University, as well as with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. Without further ado, it's March Madness, and of course, we are going to start the Sweet 16 on tomorrow. Big shout out to the University of Alabama, as well as Mark Sears, an All-American, been named on the first team. We're going to welcome in, of course, one of our insiders over at Alabama in Tuscaloosa, boots on the ground, Stephen Smith. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good, guys. How about you guys?
Wonderful, man. I know you're excited for Mark Sears. You're excited for Coach Oates, as well as the Alabama Crimson Tide basketball team making it to the Sweet 16.
They're there, guys. They're there. You take care of Robert Morris. You take care of St. Vincent, St. Mary's. You're right there in the Sweet 16. Mark Sears, a big night. Grant Nelson continues to play well. How about Big Cliff, though? Big Cliff in the paint, getting the points, getting the rebounds there. So very, very proud of this team, what they're doing so far.
Good deal, man. Let me ask you this now. I mean, I know that the Sweet 16 obviously takes precedence, but spring practice going on at the same time. I don't know where the Alabama Crimson Tide fans' allegiances are. I mean, how do you sort this out?
Well, right now, I mean, of course, they're closely watching basketball, right? Because they want this program to make a run here at the Final Four, possibly play for a national championship. But you do have those that have their eye on Kalen DeBoer and spring practice, the quarterback competition, things going on the football field. But the majority of them, they're watching their NCAA tournament bracket, and they're watching Alabama in that bracket.
They're taking on BYU. And here's the thing, Stephen. This could be an upset if Alabama doesn't play defense.
No!
They can score with the best of them, but BYU, I'm telling you, they can flat out shoot the basketball. What has been the point of contention with Nate Oates and his staff, knowing that this is a winnable game and they're probably going to have to take on Duke in the Elite Eight. But if you overlook BYU, you could be in a 98-90 game and seeing yourself go home.
He's hard thrift on two things: rebound and protect the basketball.
Yeah.
Rebound and protect the basketball, but two things Oates has hard done, because you're right, Thrift. BYU can not only score with the best of them, they can defend.
Yeah.
They can really defend with the best of them. So Oates has harped on, guys, we got to limit second chance points for BYU, but we got to also not turn the ball over ourselves. We cannot get careless. We cannot have bad passes in transition. We cannot get lackadaisical with the ball. We've got to defend. We got to protect the basketball. We got to play sound, man, because BYU is a team, if you don't watch it, they will get you.
Stephen, Mark Sears is your star. He's your bona fide All-American. And again, he's had a, kind of a tough season this year. Once he got through the initial part, he and Oates had their times, but the sign of a great player, he shakes it off and comes back. But he's the guy. He has to perform well. And not to say that in order for them to advance, but he definitely needs to perform well for them to have a shot.
He definitely needs to perform well. He's the straw that stirs the drink. I mean, he's the catalyst as your point guard. He gets this thing going on the offensive end and gets the intensity started defensively. But I also look at a guy like Grant Nelson. When Grant Nelson is playing like the Nelson he was in last year's NCAA tournament, especially against Clemson and North Carolina, this is a different Alabama team. When the stash is on in March, this is a whole different team here. And I look at, he's got to step up. You look at Cliff has to step up in the paint there. Mohamed Mo Diabate has got to have a big-time game as well. And Phylon, the young freshman, when he has been at his best, it's been a very, very productive season. So Mark Sears starts it all, but I look at this team as a whole with Grant Nelson. When number 4 is attacking the paint, when he's knocking down threes, when he's being a force defensively, when he's grabbing rebounds, when he's doing a lot of the dirty work things, that is when you see this team really at its best.
Yeah, man. And seeing, I agree with you. Grant Nelson's the most important player. When he plays and he's not injured, Alabama is a team that looks like they could cut down the nets. What if they, let me rephrase the question. This Alabama team, what is considered success? Is if they lose to BYU, do you still consider this year a success being a preseason top 3 team? Or do you think this is a Final Four, Elite 8, or bust year for them?
I think it's a Final Four, Elite 8, or bust year, guys. I mean, when you get to the Final Four last season, right, and you run up on a UConn team that just showed you, hey, you are a couple of big men away in the paint from actually doing something. And then you go out there and you recruit big men. You get you a Diabate, you go get your Big Cliff from the portal. You shore up that one area that you were missing just a season ago. And to only get to the Sweet 16 this time and get put out, that would be a disappointment. Nate Oates has talked about it. We're not just here to be in the tournament. We're here to make a run in this thing. We want to win this thing, get to the Final Four and win this. So I think it's Final Four for Alabama. That's a destination. They want to get to the Final Four and then put themselves in a situation where they're playing to cut down the nets to win a title.
Yeah, Alabama's returning to the Sweet 16 for the 3rd consecutive season under Coach Nate Oates. And, and just in your mind and your time of covering the Crimson Tide, what does that – I mean, you've seen some great teams over there, but how does this reflect, or how, as you think about it, what's your take on this, this particular feat?
It reflects just showing DJ how much Bama basketball has come, right? I mean, Wimp Sanderson was a good coach. Wimp was a good coach. But, Wimp would get to the Sweet 16, the round of 32, and Wimp had talent. We're talking about Latrell Sprewell, Antonio McDyess, Robert Ory, big names right there. And just could not really get over that hump. Then you had Mark Godfrey. And Mark Godfrey got you as far as the Elite 8 in 2004 with guys like Antoine Petway and Ernest Shelton and Irwin Dudley. Big names there. Just could never quite get over that hump. Then you had Anthony Grant and Avery Johnson. They tried. They really did try. But Nate Oates has been the one to finally say, look, we're not just going to recruit the talent. We're not just going to develop the talent and put guys in the NBA. We're going to get over that hump in college and bring in this program to the Final Four, which he did it last year. And now he's hungry to do even more. And for the first time, it's not just, Alabama winning in football, or Alabama buy your tickets for football, or Alabama, it's about Saban Field at Bryant-Denny. No, it's not about, it's Coleman Coliseum. You got Coleman Coliseum guys being packed out every night, people yelling, screaming, because they understand this is a basketball program too now, and Nate Oates has done a phenomenal job, not just bringing awareness to it, but having excellence in it.
Absolutely. Now, again, where are you going to be watching the game from? I know that 6:00 tomorrow you'll have your boots kicked up somewhere, but where will it be? At the house? Will it be at the cigar lounge? Where are you going to be watching?
Man, it's going to be right here at the crib with these wings and this popcorn, man.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, Stephen, I'll tell you, man, we certainly appreciate you coming on board with us here, man, but won't hold you long this morning. Go and let you get on with the rest of your day's work, but we always appreciate you, and we'll be hopefully checking in after Alabama knocks off, of course, BYU tomorrow.
Man, I appreciate you, Thrift and DJ. Y'all keep rolling.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thank you so much. That's Stephen M. Smith. That's our guy. That's our boots on the ground guy in Tuscaloosa, all things Alabama. But without further ado, let's go out to Houston, Texas, where the one of only 4 African-American black, or at least caddies on the PGA Tour is, and his name is Cedric Lamar. Cedric, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, DJ. How you doing, man?
Wonderful, man, and wonderful. Glad to have you back on the Sports Visions morning show, but you were on the Sports Visions radio show where we were on in the afternoons, and a lot of people didn't get the pleasure of meeting you and understanding you and knowing what your experience has all been about. But we're going to change that today. You're out in Houston for a PGA event. Why don't you do the honors?
Okay, yeah, I'm out here at the Houston, Texas Open in Houston this week. I'm caddying for a young gentleman named William Mao. He's a rookie out of Pepperdine University, and we're looking to have a great week this week. He's a very good player. He represented the U.S. as an amateur on the Walker Cup team, and he was also on the NCAA championship team with Pepperdine. So we're looking to do some good things this week and some good things throughout the year.
Cedric, you're the pride and joy of Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. And all of a sudden, you are all over the world on the PGA Tour, one of only 4 African American caddies, man. What's it like? What's life like?
It's a lot of travel, DJ. I'm proud to represent the ATL, and I'm definitely proud to represent Morehouse. When I was at Morehouse, we didn't have a golf team, but that's okay. I continue to play golf. My father graduated from Morehouse, so I wanted to keep the family tradition intact, and graduated from Morehouse, and then I decided to say, hey, I want to stay in the golf business. So I met you at North Fulton, where I was a head pro at North Fulton,
Yes.
and continued to grow and decided to get into the caddy business full time. But life on the tour is a lot of travel, a lot of course walking, a lot of course preparation, a lot of course management. And when people see us on TV, they just see us toting a bag and they say, man, that job seems pretty easy, but it's a lot of decision making and it's a lot of pressure. I mean, anytime you're caddying for a player that can win $1 million in a week, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And I'm just delighted and grateful to be able to do this for the amount of time that I have done it.
Where did the love for golf come from, Cedric? When did you start trying out golf? And I mean, something that I've never played a whole round of 18 holes of golf. I'm just like, when did that love come for? And who do you give credit to for that?
My dad, he played golf, but he never pushed it on me. He just he wanted me to go out with him. And in high school, you played, when I was growing up in high school, you played basketball, you played football. If you even told somebody you were playing golf, they were like, oh man, something's wrong with this guy. So when I was in high school, probably I would say 3 people knew I played golf.
3.
I hit it pretty well. So when I got to Morehouse, like I said, we didn't have a golf team in Morehouse, but I started playing in more tournaments. And then when I graduated from Morehouse, what's funny is when you go to college to get a job in finance, you go to college to be a lawyer, you go to college to be a doctor, you go to college to be a white collar worker. And when I graduated from Morehouse, people were like, hey, Sid, what you gonna do, man? I was like, dude, I'm going to play golf. And they was like, man, why you go to college to play golf, man? Because that was something that was like unheard of. My father was an educator. My mother was an educator. And to spend that money to go to Morehouse to play golf, that seemed like a waste of time. But as people began to understand the industry, as people began to understand the purse payouts for a caddy on the PGA Tour, that quickly changed. We have some caddies out here that make $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year.
Wow.
A lot of my friends with these white collar jobs, they don't make that.
Yeah.
They don't make that. Job looks good, but sometimes behind the scenes where people don't really understand what's going on can be very deceiving. And this is a very, very lucrative career as a caddy for sure.
If you're just joining us, we have with us a PGA caddy, Cedric Lamar, my friend. And of course, Cedric, you been in the game, of golf for over 25 years. You traveled the world, and you're talking about, the money you can make, but the places that you've seen, you've been to Africa, you've been to Asia. What's the most impressive spot or the most impressive experience that you've had on your job as a PGA caddy?
Well, one of the most touching experiences that I've had, DJ, I was in South Africa, and some of the smaller courses in South Africa, they have what they call a zoo, but it's not a zoo. They have like a little building where you can view animals.
Yeah.
And So I get to one course and man, I see this big snake. I see a hyena. I see another poisonous snake. And so I go in the pro shop and I ask the guy, I said, hey, man, I said, man, that's pretty good. You know, the little zoo y'all have out here. I said, where did y'all get those from? He said, we got them from the course. So I see this little kid, man, 6 years old, come out the bushes, DJ. Most touching experience I ever had in my life. And he had a bucket of balls. And I said, man, I said, where did you get those balls from? He said, sir, he said, I got them from in the woods. And I was like, with those big snakes? He said, yes. He said he does it every week, DJ. And he was taking the money to his mother.
Okay.
And I told my player, I said, man, we're gonna take this kid home. And because I'm thinking, like, if I take him home to his mother, she would like say, hey, don't go in those woods. Thank you for bringing him home or whatever. So we decided to take him home. And in South Africa, $100 is like 1,400 rands, 1,300 rands. So 1,300 rands in South Africa, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I take the kid home, tell his mother he was in the bush. And she said, yeah, that's his job. When I get in the house, DJ, the house was metal tent, bricks holding the metal down, dirt floor. It was man, it was mind chilling for sure. And I had $200 on me because I hadn't changed the money out yet. I gave it to the lady.
Okay.
The lady screamed so loud and hugged me that the people in the village, they ran out and they thought I was actually assaulting the lady.
Wow.
The lady was that overjoyed with that money, man. And it was a mind chilling experience. And man, and still today, when I talk about it, it brings chills down my back.
I can tell.
And you're only going to get that here on the Sports Visions Morning Show, Cedric. So thank you so much for telling that story. Can you talk about that relationship that you have with a player? You're talking about you got a young man that's coming this week from Pepperdine, and talk about what the relationship you got to have with him. Y'all being on the same page, what he likes, what he doesn't like, how he likes to hit the ball. How hard is that, and what type of relationship you got to have with the player to be successful in these tournaments?
Well, this kid I met on the Corn Fair tour last year. I was caddying for a gentleman, and he had half status on the Corn Fair, half status on the PGA Tour. And so we decided at the end of the Corn Fair season last year that we were going to work together this year on the PGA Tour.
Gotcha.
Fortunately for me, I started the year off with him. So this would be our 8th tournament together. And the relationship that we have it's going to be special. He's going to be one of the best in the near future. We trust one another. We believe in one another. I share my experiences on the course with him, and he definitely has the game to compete at this level. In college golf, pro golf, it's a little different. In college golf, you play on a team. So if they take 5 guys to the tournament, they take the 4 best scores. Pro golf in a tournament, there is no team. It's your score. So the course management is a little different from a caddy standpoint. On the PGA Tour, the greens are much firmer. So we have landing spots more so than in college. they just shoot at the pin because they're trying to get a low score. So the course knowledge that he had in college, we don't quite do that in on the PGA Tour to a certain extent. But and then understanding the courses, the length of the courses on the PGA Tour, the rough is higher. So fairways are a must. So sometimes instead of hitting a driver, you may want to hit a 3-wood. Sometimes you may, instead of hitting a 3-wood, you may want to hit a hybrid. So on the PGA Tour, everything starts in the fairway because the rough is extremely tough out here. So course management is big. Trust in each other is big, and we definitely have a great relationship. So we should do some good things not only this week, but some good things throughout the year.
If you're just joining us, we have with us, excuse me, Cedric Lamar, the one of only 4 African-American PGA caddies on the PGA Tour. And he's boots on the ground at the Houston Open out there. Why don't you give us, first of all, give us the itinerary, because today, obviously, you have a schedule and a routine. What's the days going to be like?
Oh, today is they have the Pro-Am on Wednesdays on the PGA Tour. So every Wednesday they have the Pro-Am top guys. They play with the, executives of the tour, of the tournament, the sponsors of the tournament, some VIPs. Rookies, they usually don't play in the Wednesday Pro-Ams unless they've really had either won a tournament this year so far or they're having a good year. So today for us, we'll do some chipping, we'll do some putting, some range work, and we'll get ready for the week coming up.
Now, the play during play, what's a typical day like when the actual tournament starts and you guys are off and doing what you do?
Okay, so tomorrow we play at I think we play at 9:21. So we'll probably get to the course about 7, eat some breakfast, go through our yardage books, go through some notes, meet on a range about 8:30. Go through a good range session, putt, chip, and we'll tee it up, DJ, and try to focus on winning this thing this week, man.
And I think that's a great point, Cedric. But I do got to get your opinion on in the game of golf. They've started this virtual league, the TGL. I don't know if you've seen this. Tiger Woods actually got to play in it. What's your thoughts on this, man? I mean, it could be hit or miss. I'm wondering how is it going to be redundant, seeing the same guys playing it over and over again? It's not a new course. What's your thought on this virtual league that's coming out, the TGL?
It's different. Me personally, I haven't watched it on TV. But I think as it continues to go, from what I hear, maybe they can make a few changes in the game.
Right.
But it is indoors. It's indoor golf. Top Golf, like I've been to a Top Golf, and when I first went to a Top Golf, I was like, man, why do people do this? But when I got to the Top Golf, I had a great time.
Yeah.
I had a great time. Just a little challenges throughout the Top Golf that you can do and the little games you can play. So, like I said, I haven't watched the TGL, but next year, I want to watch a few tournaments and see what it's all about. But I think it will bring more people to the game. And sometimes things that are different to people, it takes them a while to accept that, okay, we're going to do something different. So I think it will continue to grow because they have all the big names. So I think it will continue to grow and prosper in the near future.
PGA Tour caddy Cedric Lamar is with us this morning on the Sportsvisions morning show. Cedric, I know that a lot of people around these parts, and for the most part all over the country, are talking about the Masters, which is coming in a few weeks. What's the possibilities of you and your golfer playing participating in the Masters?
Well, the only way we can get in the Masters this DJ in the next couple of weeks, we'll have to either win in Houston or we'll have to win in San Antonio next week. Or be in the top 50, I think, by the end of Houston. So that would probably be, for us, we would have to win.
Cedric,
get into the Masters.
let's talk about the purse. The winning purse in the tournament that you're now in at Houston. What is that purse versus a purse like the Masters?
So this week the purse is $9.5 million. I think first place is 1.6, 1.7 million.
Okay.
To the winner. The Masters, I'm not sure what that purse is, but it's definitely higher than this week. Maybe 12, 13, 15 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a guess, but it's definitely higher than the purse this week for sure.
Good deal.
But like I said, I mean, it's these purses out here are very lucrative, and everybody's getting paid. D. Everybody's getting paid, man.
Good deal. Hey, man, it was great to see you down at Ybor City last week. Of course, last week, this past weekend, I was celebrating my birthday there, and I called you up, and we met down on Ybor at one of my favorite spots, King Corona. But listen, when you talk about getting into the caddy business, this is my last question. So if there's some people out there that some young people that are looking right now, that are listening right now, that are watching as well, but what would you recommend them do as have given them a hands up or heads up, if you will, on trying to become a professional caddy?
Man, that's a tough one, DJ, because being a professional caddy, you're going to have some commitment, 100% commitment. Not only yourself, but if you're married, got a girlfriend, they're going to have the 100% commitment also, because you won't be home. Man, I spent probably 35 weeks a year on the road.
My goodness.
And 1 year I was on the road for 40 weeks. Because I go overseas and caddy also. But it's a very lucrative job, but in order to make money, you have to work.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be home. So it's different, man. It's different. It's different. I mean, so you really have to have a commitment from your spouse or your significant other to do it, man. It's sometimes things look rosy on the other side until you get on the other side, and then
yeah.
And then it's not as picturesque as people think it is, but it's a very like I said, very lucrative job. But it's 100% commitment, 100% commitment for sure.
Well, Sid, I tell you, man, it was exciting to have you on. Thank you for coming on and educating the Sports Visions Nation, man. Good luck on the tour.
Thanks, DJ.
We'll see you soon. Take care.
Okay, thank you, man. Thank you very much, and you all have a good day.
Thank you, Cedric.
Wow. How many people you have? How many caddies have you ever talked to?
Not many. And I think he's actually the first. So thank you, Cedric.
All right. Let's go ahead and take our final break of the day. You're watching Facebook Live and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, You can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-929-1313. 800-929-1313. Again, that's 800-929-1313.
Find all of your favorite Ford vehicles at Rivertown Ford in Columbus. SUVs to fit the whole family? Check. Performance muscle cars to hit the open road? Check. Tough trucks, compact crossovers, hybrids, and EVs of all shapes and sizes? Check, check, and check. With hundreds of new and used vehicles in stock, our team is dedicated to getting you behind the wheel of the Ford of your dreams. Whether you're leasing or purchasing your next Ford, visit us in person at our Columbus showroom, located at 1680 Whittlesey Road, for our signature personalized service. Or shop our extensive selection of vehicles online anytime at rivertownford.com. And remember, you'll never pay retail at Rivertown Ford.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist, clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Attorney advertising. Local counsel, Alexander should not run trial attorneys. Paid after dramatization. Past results do not guarantee future results in each case.
You gotta be a believer. You can't have no doubt in your head. You gotta believe that if you call Top Dog, that dog's gonna go out and bite somebody and bring you back some money. You ever play fetch with a dog? You ever make a dog go fetch? You ever see a dog come back with money? I have. My friend was telling me he got into an accident. He ain't called Top Dog, he called somebody else. Settlement check was $20,000. The attorney wanted 15,000 of it. Left with 5. Like, that's crazy. How that work? That's crazy. It's like he got into the accident. He got more than you. That's crazy. Call Top Dog, you get into an accident. Big or small, you make the call. Life or death, you make the call. Top Dog Law.
Uptown Spring Food Truck Festival is Saturday, March 29th in Uptown from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Woodford Park and Dillingham Street Bridge. Join them for over 30 food trucks, arts and craft vendors, beverages, a DJ, and fun.
Covering local and national sports. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show on Sports Visions 92.1. Drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Green Bay Packers. Here's DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
I got a condo in Manhattan.
Welcome back to the final segment of the Sports Visions Morning Show. Man, what a show. What a day. What a show. Hump day.
What a time.
We are halfway done with the week. Of course, just a couple more days till the weekend. But I guess when I tell you about excited that we have Major League Baseball opening day tomorrow, as well as Sweet 16. They start play tomorrow with Thrift. And again, man, I'm excited to the weekend actually starts tomorrow with all these great games.
Yeah, it does, man. So looking forward to seeing them turn in tomorrow. Auburn plays on Friday, and so does Tennessee, Kentucky, and I think Alabama plays tomorrow against BYU. So can't wait to see that. And Florida also plays tomorrow against Maryland.
Absolutely. And don't forget that the Braves open up the season on the West Coast tomorrow. They're out in San Diego. They'll be opening up in Pepco Stadium against the Padres, and looking forward to that. But, man, I tell you what a tremendous opportunity to interview and talk to a guy that's on the PGA Tour. He's boots on the ground at the tournament right now at the Houston Open. Cedric Lamar, my friend, and, again, he is one of those guys. I mean, we ask everybody that we have on pretty much, Thrift, that from an educational standpoint, to give some pointers or give a recommendation to some of the younger people or the folks that are listening out there. And he couldn't give you an answer. I guess it's just so difficult that because the only thing that resonated in my mind is he just kept saying, you know what, you were going to be away from home a great deal. I mean, and it wasn't that he had to be a great golfer. He played golf. He didn't even have a golf team in college, but he was able to, to play the game, and he went on and he worked at some courses. I met him at the North Fulton Golf Course as a golf pro on premises there, and having an opportunity. Wow. It's just, some things it's hard to explain, and it's hard to explain, but being away for 35, 40 weeks of the year away from your significant other, your wife, your family, that's definitely a commitment.
It is a major commitment, and you really have to love the sport, and you really have to love what you do to be able to do something like that. And if you're going to get into it, you better be ready for some long weekends and long nights to do that, DJ.
Absolutely. And again, I know some of the best relationships flourished, because I came up playing professional football in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and made my home in Atlanta. So, going off and living in Green Bay for during the football season, that's several months that you're away from, your home, and of course your family. But the fact of the matter is that, everything is a sacrifice. Everything that's worth it is a sacrifice. This is a sacrifice with what we do, Thrift. Obviously, this is a sacrifice with what you do at Georgia, Alabama Sports Live. But it's our passion. It's a necessity. It puts food on the table. It puts a roof over our heads. And it's just life. You have to deal with it.
Yeah, you got to deal with it. You got to be able to adapt to it and be able to move on, man. Can't complain about it, DJ. You're going to get punched right in the face, man.
Absolutely. You're indeed true about that. But, just again, I just want to thank all of our guests today. And again, with regards to all of the things that are happening this week, Stephen M. Smith was a guy who came up, and he came up like roses, giving us all of that great information on behalf of Nate Oates and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Of course, went inside a little bit on Kalen DeBoer and spring practice over with Alabama and the Crimson Tide. And again, Oliver Davis, that made my day to be able to talk to a former coach, a former professional athlete, a former athletic director and coach here in Muskogee County. That was good. That was really good. And then to do it on the golf course prior to him playing in a big fundraiser over at Robert Trent Jones early this morning at 7 a.m.
That's awesome.
That was awesome. That was awesome. And again, the nuggets that he was able to drop on us, Thrift. But, again, as I said before, you could be on the golf course, you could be in the mall, and you could be in a cigar bar and never know that this guy was as accomplished as he was.
And I'm glad that we were able to showcase him here on the Sportsvisions Morning Show.
All right, Thrift, you hear the music. You know what that means. That's going to do it for this edition of the Sportsvisions Morning Show. On behalf of Thrift Barringer, I'm DJ Jones, reminding you to keep your eye on the ball.
Yeah. I find you, I give you why.
You've been listening to the Sportsvisions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. This is Sportsvisions 92.1.
I try to